Adam Small is at the scene with what we know.
This happened just before 7 a.m. near 9300 South Redwood Road. Police say the man was not in a crosswalk at the time of the crash. West Jordan Police Detective Rhonda Field says one driver saw him and stopped, but she says another did not have enough time to react.
Redwood Road is a very busy road, all time of the day, all time of the night. So regardless of whether it's lit outside, it's not safe to cross outside of the crosswalks.
Field says it was also still dark at the time of the crash. We don't know yet where the man was trying to go since most of this stretch is lined with businesses. Police say the driver of the car involved stayed at the scene and is cooperating with their investigation. Investigators are still working to reach the man's family before they release his name publicly. They say he's in his late 40s or early 50s. In West Jordan, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The family of a teenager hit and killed in a wrong-way crash over the holiday weekend is speaking out, offering forgiveness to the driver suspected of hitting them.
All I wish I would have done was give Leo a bigger hug when I dropped him off that night. Make sure that I told him how much I truly loved him.
Samantha Butterfield tells KSL TV her brother Leo Shepard and Annika Wilson were heading to Idaho to visit family when the accident happened. Troopers say the driver who hit them was driving drunk and going the wrong way on the freeway. The Clearfield Police Department is launching a program to help officers learn how to deal with people having a mental health crisis and then get them the resources they need. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
The police department has a detective who will be dedicated to responding to and reviewing mental health cases. And that officer will get special training that could then be shared with the other officers on the force. It's something the department has wanted to do for a while, but funding from the legislature means they can finally get this program going.
Over the past several years, we've seen an increase in our response to mental health crisis.
Police Chief Kelly Bennett tells KSL TV the ultimate goal is early intervention, so a mental health crisis doesn't escalate into crimes. And a big component of the program is follow-up visits by the detective to make sure the person in crisis is getting the help they need. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
University of Utah has created a task force to address students' mental health and suicide risk. Dr. Shrey Watkins, Associate Vice President of Student Health and Wellness, says they want to educate students on the resources available to them on campus and empower them to actually get help.
We want to empower faculty, staff, and students to know how to navigate our services. And that is the key purpose of this task force, is to help students to just be well.
The task force will lean strongly on the feedback of students and what they need. Their first meeting is in January. KSL's top national stories. Ukraine and Russia are still trying to work out a peace deal while figuring out the details. Another strike in eastern Ukraine hurt 40 people and killed at least 4 people. More from ABC's Ian Pannell.
It's something of a crunch week for President Trump's peace efforts. His special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is going to be traveling to Moscow today. He's expected to give Vladimir Putin a plan to end the war when they meet tomorrow at the Kremlin. This follows high-level talks in Florida over the weekend between the US and Ukraine. Both sides were calling it productive publicly, but there's no real sign that they were able to reach agreement on the most difficult issues blocking a deal.
Ukraine has been hesitant to give up territory to the Russians, while Russia has wanted the territory they seized, as well as a guarantee that Ukraine would never join NATO. European leaders say they need certain guarantees that Russia wouldn't invade Ukraine again. More from ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge.
Another key issue for the Europeans is the frozen Russian assets. Now, $200 billion roughly worth of frozen financial Russian assets are held in Europe, and therefore the Europeans are saying they have to be at the table, they have to be in the negotiations, and the Europeans and the Ukrainians are pushing for what they say has to be a durable and robust peace.
President Trump's envoy will arrive in Russia tomorrow. Other national stories KSL is following. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is denying allegations made in a report from the Washington Post. It claims U.S. forces carried out a second airstrike on a suspected drug boat to comply with Hegseth's alleged orders to kill everyone on board. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has more.
There is pushback on Capitol Hill, bipartisan pushback, and questions about what actually happened. And it is very striking to see Republicans and Democrats now calling for investigations. The Senate and House Armed Services Committee say they're going to look into that strike from early September. And we heard from Senator Tim Kaine, a Democrat, that if what the Washington Post reported is true, he says that this would rise to the level of a war crime. Congressman Mike Turner, a Republican, said that if that happened, that would be an illegal act.
Hegseth called the report fabricated. President Trump told reporters he believes his Secretary of Defense. First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. We do have delays that linger eastbound I-80 due to a right lane blocked approaching the I-215 junction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry. And to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story, a man has died after being hit by a car while trying to cross Redwood Road in West Jordan. KSL News Time, 12:07. Snow is finally falling along the Wasatch Front, and forecasters say we are only about 24 hours from our next storm. National Weather Service meteorologist Brittany Whitlam says that the mountains are expected to get another dose of power between tomorrow and Wednesday.
Right now we have in the forecast around half an inch to an inch for most valley locations across the Wasatch Front. 2 to 4 inches for the benches.
Whitlam says the Wasatch Mountains could see 4 to 10 inches of snow, and she says Salt Lake City has a good chance of seeing its first measurable snowfall of the season almost a full month later than normal. Some of our ski resorts are reporting as much as 9 inches of new snow out of this latest storm, but there wasn't a lot of water in that storm.
The supervisor for the Utah Snow Survey says this storm was great for the resorts. Lots of light, fluffy stuff that backcountry skiers love, but not much water.
Typically when we get into the colder months, December, January, and February, that's when we see the majority of the snow being that really low density fluffy snow. And sometimes we get that in the spring as well into March and April, but a lot of times those storms tend to be a little bit higher density snow.
Jordan Clayton says from a water content perspective, it isn't something to worry about. He says there's still plenty of time to get the water we need to refill the reservoirs before next spring. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
UDOT has launched a website for travelers to access live weather and traffic conditions in the Ogden Valley area. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman has more.
The website, along with the adjacent social media accounts, will help people planning activities in Weber County prepare for travel. They will offer up-to-date information on traffic, weather, and potential closures or restrictions, as well as good insight for tourists like recreation areas and public transit times and routes. It's all part of UDOT's Roads to Rec program. The agency has already launched similar websites and accounts for other popular recreational areas in the state.
Information will be available for numerous recreational areas in the county at ogdenvalley.udot.utah.gov. UDOT is closing some seasonal highways tomorrow. Monte Cristo in Ogden Canyon and Big Mountain near the Mountain Dell Dam will close at 2 o'clock. Mountain passes can get extreme snowfall in just hours, making them extremely dangerous. They will be closed until spring when the snow finally melts. Traffic and weather is brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. What's happening, Ricky?
We do have a small accident southbound I-215's West Belt. It's after 7th North at about the North Temple area, so not far from the I-80 junction. And they've already got all the vehicles moved out of traffic on the right shoulder on the other side of those construction barrels. So as you're getting ready to approach the construction on the West Belt, you'll see a reduced speed, but it won't be because of this crash. We also have backups on I-80. This is going eastbound. They start after 13th East. It's due to a right lane blocked with road crews replacing the sign prior to the Foothill, Parley's Way, and I-215 junction. If you're in that vicinity, be prepared to add an extra 10 minutes or so to your travel time. And if you're traveling any of the other Valley freeways, no accidents and no delays. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be a cold Monday afternoon as highs will only top out in the mid to upper 30s. Normal high for today is about 43 degrees. That's 5 degrees cooler than normal. We'll have mostly sunny skies for this December 1st, and we'll increase our cloud coverage on Tuesday as we track some rain and snow showers moving in the afternoon and evening. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Devin Mishuli.
Well, it's not quite freezing, but it's awfully cold. Sunshine, 36 degrees right now in Salt Lake City. Still to come on Midday with Maria Shilaos. We will talk with KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas about an illegal cockfighting operation in Provo. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. If you've been thinking that you want to take off those extra pounds in the new year or even get started now, I want to tell you about a great deal with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. They have a huge holiday sale going on right now, lowest prices of the year through December 31st. And you can start the program now or after the holidays, but you need to call now to lock in this huge discount. I have just loved this program. I've lost more than 40 pounds with the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss. This program resets your metabolism so you can keep that weight off. It's a simple combination of foods that burn that stored fat, that stored belly fat off very quickly. So it's easy to stick with it because you see the results just very quickly. Plus, it's all natural, so you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to exercise for over an hour a day to boost your metabolism. And it fits perfectly into a busy schedule. It's all natural, so it's easy to follow. And they have some great resources to help keep you accountable. Their app shows you recipes. It gives you a daily inspirational message and other resources. It keeps you accountable by helping you track your weight. And you can ask questions anytime you want with this app. So it's great that way as well. I've lost more than 40 pounds, and many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. And again, the huge holiday sale is underway now. You can start after the first of the year, but you need to contact them now to get this huge discount. Go to slcfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. That is slcfatloss.com.
Think of a time when life knocked the wind out of you, turned you completely upside down. Now imagine if no one showed up. That's the reality for too many in Utah. Every day, people battle mental health challenges, addiction, and homelessness, often in silence, often feeling invisible. At Volunteers of America Utah, we show up with recovery support, counseling, youth programs, shelter, and people who simply refuse to give up on others. A safe bed, a warm meal, a conversation that says you belong. And right now, your gift is matched, helping twice as many people find hope and stability. Because when you help someone feel human again, you transform the whole community. Be the reason someone finds hope today. Visit voaut.org.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
a man has died after he was hit by a car while trying to cross Redwood Road in West Jordan early this morning. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, UDOT is closing some seasonal highways tomorrow. Monte Cristo and Ogden Canyon and Big Mountain near the Mountain Dell Dam will close at 2 o'clock. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
A small accident southbound I-215's west belt about the North Temple area, not far from the I-80 junction. It's out of traffic on the shoulder. And backups remain eastbound I-80 starting after 13th East with a right lane blocked prior to the East Belt. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our Sunday storm delivered about 4 to 8 inches to the northern mountains, and it brought in the cold, highs in the upper 30s today. I'm Dev Misholi.
Sunny, 37 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The investigation continues into the shooting of 2 West Virginia National Guard members in Washington, D.C. last week. Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom died on Thanksgiving. Guard member Andrew Wolf remains hospitalized. Governor Patrick Morrisey says Wolf is in...
We're told that Andrew was asked if he could hear the nurse who asked the question to give a thumbs up, and he did respond. And we were told that he also wiggled his toes.
The suspected killer, an Afghan national who worked with the CIA and came to the U.S. under the Biden administration after the Taliban took over, received asylum just this past April by the Trump administration. The Trump administration has since halted all asylum decisions and paused issuing visas for people traveling on Afghan passports. Congress back in session following the Thanksgiving break, and there is growing bipartisan support for an investigation into the U.S. military strikes on Venezuelan alleged drug vessels in the Caribbean. It comes after the Washington Post reported 2 men were killed in September during a second strike after surviving the first U.S. hit, which could be a violation of war laws, experts say. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt at today's briefing defended the strike.
The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
Ukraine's negotiation team was in Miami over the weekend talking to U.S. officials about how the war in Ukraine with Russia can come to an end. Ukraine has been hesitant to give up territory to the Russians, while Russia has wanted to see the territory they seized, as well as a guarantee that Ukraine would never join NATO. European leaders now say they need certain guarantees Russia will not invade Ukraine again, and say they hold $200 billion in frozen financial Russian assets and must be part of negotiations. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. 16 people were arrested after police busted a cockfighting operation in Provo this weekend. More than 100 live birds were found on the property, along with 50 dead roosters. Co-host of Inside Sources and KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas joins me now live. And Greg, I know you've worked on cases like this before. My goodness, what was that like?
Oh, they're just awful because, as you indicated, there are a number of animals involved. They're trained to kill, and they do kill. And so you've got dead animals, you've got the gambling part of this, and it's just a disgusting enterprise. And it's something that our courts and our prosecutors take, and law enforcement community takes pretty seriously.
So what kinds of charges are these folks looking at?
So there's cruelty to animals, and that can include a charge for every single bird, which could be numerous. There could be dozens, maybe hundreds. And there's also gambling, because people don't go to these just to watch birds kill each other. They go to gamble. They go to put money down on which rooster is going to prevail. So there's gambling which with respect to each individual fight. I mean, there are numerous people that gamble. There's also the loss of the life of the animals. So there's just so many counts for so many animals involved that you could only imagine that could be in the hundreds.
Yeah, so if there were 50 animals that died, that had to be at least 50 fights, right?
Right.
And you'd face charges for each of those fights
Every single
if you
one
were
of them.
attending them.
Yep. If you're attending and gambling on, or participating, or encouraging, aiding and abetting, we call it. Yes.
Yeah, how would police be able to prove, or prosecutors be able to prove that you were actually betting on these things and not just standing and watching?
Normally, they'll have somebody on the inside. They'll get somebody that's caught, that's in trouble, that's trying to get themselves out of their own jam, and they'll testify that they were there, that they participated, that there's a bookie, that there's somebody keeping track of the money, and you'll need witnesses. You'll need somebody that was on the inside, and sometimes law enforcement will even have an undercover person go in and watch some of these so they can get that inside information to make their case more palatable.
You said some of these. Does that mean that this isn't just a rare thing?
Oh no, I've been practicing for 43 years. I've personally done about a half dozen of these kind of cases. So yeah, it happens far more than you know.
Oh my goodness. And because people are making money, and obviously people are enjoying this gambling operation.
And you can also assume this, Maria, for every one of these that's caught, there's probably a half dozen that don't get caught. So this happens far more than you know.
All right. Thank you, Greg. KSL legal analyst and the co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, joining me to talk about this major cockfighting operation that was broken up. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
For those who are traveling I-215's West Belt, we did have a small accident near the I-80 junction, but it has just been cleared. Southbound I-215's West Belt in the North Temple area. It was already out of traffic, and what's left is a UHP cruiser getting ready to pull away. So no delays in that area. If you're trying to approach the construction, that's what's going to cause slower speeds. It's not due to the earlier crash. We also have delays on the opposite side of the valley due to road. It's not road work, it's sign work by the road, and that right lane is blocked eastbound I-80 approaching Foothill, Parley's Way, and the I-215's East Belt Junction. With that right lane blocked, we have seen backups in the area. The rest of your valley freeways all clear. Your main secondaries also having a good commute. Looking for the ultimate holiday gift? That's what you get at Minky Couture, the original luxury blanket company. Use code KSL50 online and in stores to receive 50% off. Visit minkycouture.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL 7-day forecast starts off with below normal temperatures. Highs will be in the upper 30s this afternoon with mostly sunny skies. We'll have more clouds on Tuesday that will eventually give way to some rain and snow showers throughout the afternoon and evening. Highs in the low 40s. This storm will drop temperatures back down to the upper 30s Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday through the weekend will be in the low to mid 40s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Deb Mishuli.
And it's sunny and 37 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. Ooh. The Dow at least taking back some of last week's gains, down by 300 points right now. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
This holiday season, give the gift of love that lasts a lifetime with Duke's Jewelers. For over 75 years, the Dukes family has been part of Utah Valley's story, helping yours celebrate life's most cherished moments since 1948. Duke's is more than a jewelry store. They're craftsmen, creating timeless pieces and custom designs that capture the magic of the holidays. Whether it's a sparkling necklace, a custom ring, or restoring a family heirloom, Duke's Jewelers pours their heart into every gift. Because jewelry isn't just about sparkle, it's about love and legacy. This Christmas, make your loved one feel like part of the Dukes family. Find the perfect gift at Duke's Jewelers, located at 220 South Main in Springville, or shop online at dukesjewelers.com. Duke's Jewelers, celebrating love and tradition since 1948.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 12:25, watching Utah's money. Chinese factory activity is contracted for the 8th month in a row, according to a poll released by S&P Global. Chinese manufacturers say that this is because of reduction in hiring and caution in inventory management due to slow business growth. President Trump has expressed that he has decided who will be the next chair of the Federal Reserve, but has yet to name them. According to Bloomberg, inside sources say White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett will likely succeed the current chair, Jerome Powell. Elon Musk doubled down on his confidence in AI on a podcast Sunday. He said that AI is the only thing that can and will drive the U.S. out of the national debt in just a short 3 years. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow down by 331 points, nearly 0.75%, sitting at 47,383. S&P down by 28 points, and the Nasdaq down by 87 points.
Holidays are here, the countdown to Christmas, and it's time for you to make your reservations at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I have to tell you how festive it is, whether it's downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple or up at Hotel Park City. Just the atmosphere, the decor, it is spectacular at Ruth's Chris. Now, as great as that ambiance is, you're there for a steak, right? You're there for a great, great meal. And Ruth's Chris Steakhouse never disappoints. Pick out that perfect steak. It will be cooked to perfection, and it's not just steaks. They have the seafood and the poultry and other dishes and the desserts at this time of year, the side dishes. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, the perfect place to celebrate the holidays this year. And don't forget, the perfect stocking stuffer, a gift card from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. What's going on, Ricky?
A right lane blocked with road crews putting up a new sign. This is eastbound to I-80. About a quarter mile prior to Foothill and I-215's East Belt. They are blocking a right lane, and that's been causing some backups in the area. The rest of your Valley freeways, including I-15 between Ogden and Provo, either direction, all delay-free. Renew your smile with Grandpa's Dental. Grandpa's Dental offers cosmetic and routine dentistry. Visit grandpasdental.com for a location near you. That's grandpasdental.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunday's storm delivered about 4 to 8 inches of snow to our northern mountains and about 1 1 to 4 inches along our eastern benches. Now, it did bring in the cold. Temperatures to start this morning in the mid to upper 20s. Afternoon highs will also be below normal this Monday afternoon in the upper 30s. We'll have lots of sunshine, though, and we will see some high-level clouds move in, and we'll track more clouds on Tuesday with a chance of rain and snow developing in the late afternoon and evening. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Devin Mishuli.
And it's partly cloudy, 37 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time, 1230. KSL's top story this half hour. A welfare check in Provo turned into something much bigger. Detectives say they found a backyard cockfighting ring with more than 200 live birds and dozens more of those dead. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live with that story. Eric?
Maria, officers showed up to check on someone living at the home on 600 South, but once they got there, a drone picked up a steady stream of people coming and going from a shed in the backyard. To walk us through what police found, here's KSL News Radio's Cam Elliott.
More than 200 live and 50 dead animals were found in a backyard shed in Provo after detectives entered a property on 600 South. The detectives initially came to the house to do a wellness check, but found a large congregation of people entering and exiting a shed while flying the drone over the yard. Authorities say over 100 people fled the scene. Authorities say a number of trophies, seemingly related to the illegal rooster fighting gambling practice, were also found in the shed.
Provo police confirmed they say 17 people were arrested. To get a sense of how violent these fights are and how organized some of these groups can be, I spoke with former FBI agent Greg Rogers, who's worked similar cases as an undercover agent.
When you're cockfighting, it's not like a boxing match. The animal wins by killing the other animal, and they're adorned with razors. They're not using just their normal claws. There's razors and things put on their legs that are designed to be, lethal.
Roger says rings like this are tough to crack because organizers usually only invite people they already know or trust, often through other crimes like drug dealing or illegal gambling. And if you ever think something like this is happening near you, he says don't approach it yourself. Just call police or animal control and let them handle it. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
New research from Utah State University has figured out why and when mule deer venture into cities. David Stoner, researcher and extension specialist, says the movement is based on the water content in plants. He says the droughts are getting longer and forcing the deer to look for greener pastures and irrigated croplands.
They'll exploit horticulture, they'll exploit orchards, even backyard ornamental gardens. Backyard vegetable gardens and ornamental vegetation may also be very attractive to them.
Stoner says the research helps them predict when the deer might move to the pastures. They can become traffic hazards or caught in fences as they move. They can also be chased by dogs. The research will help in the development of plans to minimize conflicts with the deer. Utah school children are learning the value of farm fresh food. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports.
The Utah Department of Agriculture and Food is creating partnerships between schools and local farmers and ranchers. The result is farm fresh food for school lunches. Spokesperson Caroline Hargraves hopes it's an enduring program.
With the idea of once these ranchers have those connections with local schools, even once that grant funding ends, they'll have those relationships and can sustain that.
The program teaches the students how food gets from the garden to their school lunch trays. According to Hargraves, students say they can taste a difference. She says the kitchen staff is developing recipes and learning how to cook with the fresh ingredients. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
The Iron County School District is considering a 4-day school week. The district will hold town halls to get public comment starting tomorrow. The 4-day weeks would add about 30 minutes to each school day and cut just over 8 hours over the course of the year. We'll talk with the school district's communication director, Shauna Lund, at 12:45. KSL's top national stories. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey says he supports applying for asylum from Afghanistan. Comes after last week's shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. The suspect is an Afghan national and was granted asylum in April.
We know that since this tragedy occurred, there have been a number of additional announcements by the president, and I think he's working hard to get to the bottom of this. I also want to express my support for some of the new vetting proposals that are being talked about.
Sergeant Andrew Wolf remains in serious condition following the shooting. 20-year-old Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom died from her injuries. Other national stories KSL is following. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, is in court today. His attorneys are trying to get some pieces of evidence thrown out, like tactics made by police to arrest Mangione, who was found days after the December 2024 killing at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. More from ABC's Aaron Katursky outside court.
The guy who installed the security cameras at the McDonald's is on the witness stand talking about what the footage depicts and the angles. All of this is to set up, I think, that this is, in fact, Mangione, as prosecutors see it, as defense attorneys are about to question why officers approached him and whether they acted appropriately when they made the arrest, when they searched him and questioned him.
This pretrial hearing could last days. First look traffic. What's happening, Ricky?
We still have a right lane blocked with crews putting up a new road sign. This is eastbound I-80 prior to the I-215 junction. With that right lane blocked, we are seeing some delays in the area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2025. Last chance! Donate now for a 2025 tax deduction.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
From now through December, earn triple points with a rewards visa from Cyprus Credit Union. Shop for everything on your wish list and earn points. Start your application today at cypruscu.com.
Thank you for joining me for Midday, recapping our top story. 17 people were arrested after police found a cockfighting operation in Provo. Hundreds of birds, dead and alive, were there. KSL News Time, 12:38. Utah's Olympic Organizing Committee is explaining why they chose the Utah 2034 transitional logo. Even though there were a lot of negative opinions online, they are excited that people are talking. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joins me live with more. Heather? And we will get back to Heather in just a second. KSL Sports. BYU Cougars are now preparing for their first ever Big 12 championship game, and it'll be a rematch with the one team who beat them this year.
BYU is preparing for round 2 with the 5th-ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders, who stymied the Cougars 29-7 earlier this year in Lubbock. BYU head coach Kalani Sitake says,
"We're looking forward to the rematch, and I know Coach McGuire is going to have his guys ready. And we got to make sure that we use all the time between now and the game next week and get our guys ready to play that game. But we're really excited about the opportunity."
The Cougars are looking to become the first of the Big 12's 2023 expansion schools to win the conference and, more importantly, earn an automatic bid to the college football playoff. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
As I just mentioned, Utah's Olympic Organizing Committee is explaining why they chose the Utah 2034 transitional logo. Let's get more now from KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
The brand team explained the idea of a transitional logo as a fairly new concept as they slow roll out more design features closer to Utah's Winter Games. Nate Morley from the design company Works Collective spelled out how the logo plays on Utah's grid system, its Native American history, and the curvature of its unique landscape.
You know, these otherworldly red rock shapes that we all know and love from the southern portion of the state to the dramatic peaks and, you know, the snowy, icy mountains that we find throughout the state.
Engagement on the Utah 2034 digital platform skyrocketed in the 48 hours after the logo launch, with nearly 600,000 views on Facebook and Instagram. That engagement was full of mixed reviews, though. Some people say the font is hard to read and reminds them of the logos from the 60s and 70s, while others find it edgy and unique. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Utah Mammoth have now lost 3 straight games after falling to the Blues 1-0 in St. Louis last night. The Mammoth started the year as one of the hottest teams in the league, but over the last month, they have only won 4 of their last 15 games. They'll be looking to turn things around tonight at San Jose. The puck drops at 8 o'clock. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a right lane blocked with road crews replacing a sign on the right side of the road eastbound. I-80, this is after 2300 East, but before the foothill and I-215 junction with that right lane blocked. We've seen backups in the area. No major delays, but you do want to add an extra 5, maybe 10 minutes to your travel time and definitely merge left. The rest of your Valley freeways and main secondaries are in good shape with no other problems reported. Also, kind of a quiet drive on your downtown city streets. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
After a cold start this morning in the mid to upper 20s, temperatures around lunchtime will be near 36 degrees, and we're only expecting highs to be a couple of degrees warmer than that in the upper 30s. We will have high-level clouds passing through, so a mostly sunny day. Clouds will thicken up on Tuesday as our next storm moves in the afternoon and evening. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Devin Mashuli.
Right now it's partly cloudy and 37 degrees. Coming up on Midday, we will talk to Shauna Lund with the Orange County School District about the possibility of a 4-day school week. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Black Friday deals are back at Scandinavian Designs. For a limited time, discover incredible savings on Nordic-inspired furniture and decor for every space in your home. From statement pieces for your living room to instant upgrades for the dining room, bedroom, and more. It's the perfect time to refresh your favorite space or reimagine your entire home. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple. You make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell and Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. CordellCordell.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Stacy, are you wearing yoga pants to go shopping?
Oh, we're not going out shopping. We're staying in with JTV.
I love jewelry television. Their pearls, their lab-grown diamond jewelry.
Oh, hello. What about their Italian gold and moissanite fire?
Okay, but what about the guys on my holiday list?
Relax. JTV has gifts galore, even for men, like watches and sunglasses.
Watch JTV live and on streaming or shop JTV.com for up to 80% off select items.
Ready to shop?
Yes, but can I borrow a pair of sweats?
KSL News Time 1245, the three things you need to know this hour. First,
even though opinions have been mixed, Utah's Olympic Organizing Committee says they're excited about all the engagement with the Utah 2034 transitional logo, highlighting the state's unique landscape, history, and grid system. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, U.S. negotiators are heading to Russia to try and work out a peace deal between the Kremlin and the Ukrainian government. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Crash-free on your Valley freeways, but we do have some backup due to road work eastbound I-80 prior to I-215's East Belt with a right lane blocking the area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooler than normal today with highs in the upper 30s with mostly sunny skies. A touch warmer Tuesday, but we're tracking our next storm. I'm Deb Mashuli.
It's a cold 37 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national story.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson back December, is back in court today. His attorneys trying to get some pieces of evidence thrown out, calling into question tactics that were used by police to arrest Mangione, found after the December killing at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky outside court.
The guy who installed the security cameras at the McDonald's is on the witness stand talking about what the footage depicts and the angles. All of this is to set up, I think, that this is, in fact, Mangione, as prosecutors see it, as defense attorneys are about to question why officers approached him and whether they acted appropriately when they made the arrest, when they searched him and questioned him.
Milagro Grams has been found liable in the defamation trial of Megan Thee Stallion and intentionally inflicting emotional distress and promoting deepfakes videos. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. The Iron County School District is considering a 4-day school week, and they're asking for public feedback. Communications Director for the district, Shauna Lund, joins me now live. Shauna, thanks for being with me.
Sure.
Tell us about this proposal. When did this idea get thrown out, and when was it really considered?
So the proposal first came out in mid-October. The Board of Education asked the superintendent to look at the possibility as we were looking at just missing out on some tax increase funding and also some failed bonds in the past. And so they wanted to see if maybe this could save the school district a little bit of money, but it's gone way past that now. Currently, it is just a proposal, but we're finding all kinds of things as we look into this, and ultimately it will be up to the board to decide if we want to move forward and propose this to the state or if it just was a good idea to look into.
Okay, so what is the savings that you found?
So far the savings would be in the first couple of years. What the school district would look at is a possible a freeze for the COLA for our employees because they would be working fewer days. And ultimately, we would be saving in the transportation department because that would be one less school day where we would be transporting kids. But after about 2 years, the district doesn't see much of a savings.
Okay, so how would that work for the kids? You're talking for longer days, or what are you talking here?
Each school, depending on what grade they're in, would see about a 20 to 30-minute addition at the end of the day that would be added. And then we would have 2 Monday holidays, President's Day and Martin Luther King Day, that the students currently get. We would not get those, as well as a Monday fall break. And so that all adds up that really the biggest loss that we can see at one level is about 8 hours throughout the school year.
So what has the reaction to this been so far?
The reaction has been really interesting. We have about 71% of our staff members who are saying that they think this is a really good option. And then when you look at parents, we did a parent survey as well, and we're looking at about 67% that are in favor of the 4-day school week. This was kind of a non-scientific survey, and after our town hall tomorrow night, we're going to actually do one where they would receive a unique link, and it would be a little more scientific. So we want to make sure we know how our parents are feeling about this.
Okay, so the town hall is for parents to get involved now. Where is that and what time?
We have 3 different locations at each of our high schools. So Cedar High School, Canyon View High School, and Parowan High School. And those are tomorrow, Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 p.m.
Okay, and is there, for those who maybe can't attend, is there another way for them to get involved?
We do not have a live stream, but we do accept comments continuing. They can send an email to the district, and we can take that information, and then we will be sending that survey out again with that unique link, and on that is a possibility to give comment as well.
All right, Shauna, when do you expect a decision on this?
So we expect the Board of Education here in Iron County to make a decision by January. Then it would go to the state, and we don't know what the timeline would be with the state, but we hope to get that to them by late January.
All right, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being with me.
Okay, thank you.
That is Iron District Communications Director Shauna Lunge joining me on the KSL Newsline. Let's get you up to date on the drive, traffic, and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
Looks like road crews are pulling away after replacing this sign eastbound I-80 prior to the Foothill and I-215 junction. They will likely be taking up those orange barrels any moment now, opening up that right lane of traffic. And the backups that we've been seeing back to about 2300 East, those should start to ease very soon. That's really the only spot of real delay on the Valley freeways at this time. We did have a little bit of busy traffic and a little slow westbound on I-80 between the I-15 junction downtown and Redwood Road. That seems to be easing. And a report of a small accident in Salt Lake at 9th South and 3rd West. Find a nativity perfect for your home or to gift to loved ones. Every style, every size, every budget. Celebrate the true meaning of Christmas with nativities at Deseret Book and DeseretBook.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's the start of a new month as well as climatological winter, and the 7-day forecast starts off cold. Upper 30s this afternoon with mostly sunny skies. We'll be in the low 40s on Tuesday with more clouds and the chance for rain and snow showers in the afternoon and evening, with some snow lingering Wednesday morning. Highs will be in the upper 30s Wednesday, Thursday, then we'll be in the low to mid 40s Friday through the weekend with a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Dev Mishuli.
And it's partly cloudy, 37 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. The Dow now down by 0.75%, down 368 points. Complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
The United States is facing a mental health crisis, but there is hope. At Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, they're transforming how mental health is treated and researched, bringing compassion, innovation, and access to those who need it most. Your donation helps fund life-saving care and cutting-edge research that leads to better treatment for everyone. It's already making a difference. Huntsman Mental Health Foundation has built Utah's first ever mental health crisis care center, open 24/7 to anyone, regardless of ability to pay. They've also recently launched a youth crisis care program at Huntsman Mental Health Institute, giving kids and teens immediate support. And Huntsman Mental Health Foundation is expanding services like therapy, medication management, geriatric care, and treatment-resistant support. Join us. Be part of the change. Donate today at hmhf.org. That's hmhf.org.
Make your holidays shine with festive Utah flavors and breathtaking views. The Roof is now open. Book now at theroofslc.com.
KSL News Time, 12:54. Cyber Monday is a major distraction for the nation's workforce.
With retailers offering deals on thousands of items, a survey by discount code sharing company CouponFollow finds that about 60% of full-time workers plan to scout out bargains at some point during the workday today. 70% of employees say they don't feel guilty about shopping at work because, the survey respondents said, everyone does it.
That is ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Watching Utah's money, 70 former and current Traeger salesmen called ambassadors by the grill company have proposed a class action lawsuit that after they allege they were not paid enough for their work under the company. This comes as Traeger scales back their ambassador workforce for long-term health, according to the CEO, Jeremy Andrus. As the air begins to chill and the snow begins to fall, Utah man Jack Danos has created a sock-shaped solution. His sock company, Cold Slayer, already has over 300 pre-orders and plans to build a factory in Logan to produce them. Despite falling consumer sentiment, all the shoppers are still showing up this holiday season, all except Gen Z, as analysts say they rely on more crafty homemade gifts. And taking a look at your money at this moment, a lot of red on the markets today. The Dow is down by 363 points, sitting at 47,353. S&P down by 34 points, and the Nasdaq down by 105 points. Belgian authorities are confused after someone stole a popular baby Jesus from a nativity scene in Brussels. The baby is popular for its interesting looks. It doesn't have facial features, and some people think it looks zombie-like.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or back problems, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming on.
And how about working more comfortably, like Dennis?
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Ebenezer Scrooge, you have yet a chance of escaping my fate. Ah, humbug. You still have time to get a Mountain America Rewards credit card and earn 3 times the points on every dollar spent, but only through the stroke of midnight on December 31st.
I suppose I can learn to enjoy the holidays with triple rewards.
Apply today and learn more at macu.com/triple.
Membership required based on eligibility. Loans on approved credit offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Business cards not eligible.
Attention Jazz Nation. The long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
Mr. Mac, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Mac's there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Traffic and weather together. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
Still blocked, and this is eastbound I-80 prior to Foothill and Parley's, and it's all due to some earlier road work taking place eastbound I-80, and with that right lane blocked, we're still seeing a little bit of backup, but only in the immediate area. Hopefully they're going to open up and take up those orange cones any moment now, so we'll keep you posted. The rest of the Valley Freeway's in good shape. When you take UTA, you can do just about anything while you ride. You won't even notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
What was supposed to be a long holiday weekend of celebration and thanks marred by a deadly wrong-way crash on I-15. A 17 and 18-year-old killed in that crash, their families speaking about the tragedy.
Undescribable. There ain't words to describe it. I can't tell anybody what it's like, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else.
The time is 1 o'clock on Monday, December 1st. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, remembering the victims. We'll hear more from their family members. We'll also talk with the Utah Highway Patrol to learn what you should do if you come upon a wrong-way driver. Also this hour,
any individual who threatens our national security or our citizenry will be subject to removal.
fallout continues to grow following the shooting of 2 National Guard members. More on the White House's response today coming up shortly. But first, our top stories. A man has died after he was hit by a car on Redwood Road in West Jordan early this morning. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more from the scene.
This happened just north of 9300 South Redwood Road, just a few minutes past 6:45 this morning. West Jordan Police Detective Rhonda Fields says the man was not in a crosswalk at the time of the crash.
There is a good amount of distance between the crosswalks, so we do see a lot of pedestrians that cross in unsafe areas. Unfortunately, it's a very unsafe decision to make, and for this very reason.
It's unclear where the man was heading at the time of the crash because this stretch is mostly lined with businesses that were closed. Field says the driver of the car stayed at the scene and is fully cooperating with their investigation. She also says the driver was not showing any signs of impairment at the time. Field says the victim is in his late 40s or early 50s, but they are not releasing his name until they can contact his family. At the scene in West Jordan, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. Still a lot of questions after a mass shooting Saturday night at a child's birthday party in Stockton, California. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
Police in Stockton say they're still trying to figure out what led up to the shooting at a child's birthday party being held at an event space. Those killed were 8, 9, 14, and 21 years old. 11 others were hurt. Nobody has been arrested, but police say it appears to have been a targeted shooting and the victims were not random. On Sunday, community members gathered in Stockton for a prayer vigil. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Other national stories KSL is following. The man accused of killing a healthcare CEO on the streets of Manhattan is back in court today, where his attorneys are trying to get some pieces of evidence thrown out.
The prosecutors are calling a number of witnesses. By some counts, they have more than 24 witnesses to call to firmly establish Mangione as the suspected shooter. And the defense has a couple of witnesses as well as they try to argue that he was inappropriately searched and questioned to try to get some of that key evidence thrown out. This could be just the first day of a days-long hearing.
That is ABC's Aaron Katursky there. Taking a look at your money at this moment. The Dow down by 360 points. That's 0.75%, sitting at 47,357. S&P down by 35 and the NASDAQ down by 112 points. That's about 0.5%. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
Crash free on your Valley freeways, but we still have just a little bit of backup that remains eastbound I-80 as you're approaching Foothill and Parley's. It's due to an earlier Right lane blocked, but crews are in the process of taking up those orange construction barrels and opening that lane of travel. Attention, Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Chilly today, a high of 39 degrees, up to 42 degrees tomorrow with a good chance of showers, about a 60% chance of showers, but then back down to 39 on Wednesday, that chance of showers decreasing to 30%. 37 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
At BMW of Pleasant Grove, we believe that driving should be more than just a commute. It should be an experience. Feel the perfect fusion of performance, technology, and luxury with our stunning lineup of new and certified pre-owned BMWs. From the exhilarating drive of a 3 or 5 Series to the spacious elegance of an X7, experience a transparent and effortless car buying experience. Visit us at bmwofpg.com. BMW of Pleasant Grove. The ultimate driving machine is closer than you think.
You probably know if you need new windows. You hear the wind whistling. There's condensation between the panes. Maybe your heating bill's too high, but you don't want to pull the trigger because it costs a lot of money. I understand. And they understand at Advanced Window Products. After all, they've been creating custom state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. They know what's up. That's why they offer 60-month 0% financing or buy now, pay later. You get the windows this winter for 30 to 40% less because you're buying straight from the factory. They'll build, they'll install your windows, and you don't have to pay for a year or more. At Advanced, they're committed to making your new windows affordable. And if you call now, they'll knock another $2,500 off your quote. State-of-the-art, energy-saving windows built here for Utah's changing climate. And right now, $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The long holiday weekend wasn't joyous for 2 Utah families, both of whom lost loved ones in a deadly wrong-way crash. Utah Highway Patrol says 21-year-old Jose Jimenez got onto I-15 early Saturday morning, driving southbound in the northbound lanes just north of 2100 South. Jimenez hitting a car head-on, killing the 2 people inside. The victims are identified as 18-year-old Leo Shepard and 17-year-old Annika Wilson. The couple had just celebrated their 3rd anniversary and were driving up to Idaho for the weekend. KSL 5 TV's Andrew Adams spoke with Leo's family members to learn more about his life and who he was.
Leo he's outstanding. He's taller than all of us. Things that Leo loved to go hunting. He loved helping around the farm, and he loved his family. And Annika was a really big part of Leo's life, and he sure did love her, and we loved her too. Leo was always getting into different hobbies and interests. He was kind of just a master of it all. Anything that he could put his head to, he could do.
He loved old country music.
He loved country music. He was our little
Cowboy at heart.
cowboy at heart, for sure.
And he loved being an uncle. He loved all his nieces and nephews so much. They meant the world to him, and he told me that multiple times.
Siblings Reed Shepard and Sam Butterfield say the family has already forgiven the person accused of killing both Leo and Annika.
What we really want everybody to know is the fastest way to heal is to forgive and not fill our hearts with hate. And it's pretty easy to do, but we just want everybody to know that we've as a family have talked about it and we forgive him. We choose to forgive. And if he wants to go and get better and use this accident to help other people not do it again, because I'll just say this for me. The pain that comes with losing my little brother is undescribable. There ain't words to describe it. I can't tell anybody what it's like. And I don't want it to happen to anybody else.
Troopers say Jimenez is expected to survive and has been arrested on suspicion of DUI. If you come upon a wrong-way driver, what can you do to help minimize the destruction or avoid it altogether? You might think it's best to swerve out of the way, but Utah Highway Patrol Sergeant Mike Alexander says that could cause additional crashes or further issues.
Anytime these scenarios come up, it's never a good situation, but there are, a couple of things that motorists can do to prepare, in the event that this does present itself in front of them. Like I said, there's some things that we can do beforehand, and there's some things that we can do during. And so focusing on the things that they can do beforehand is just some really basic items, like making sure that they're, seat belted in their vehicle. Make sure that all your proper safety devices are being utilized, airbags are on, seat belt is plugged in, and you're buckled up and as safe as you can be that way. Making sure that your headlights are on. In a day and age where we utilize so much technology to take care of us in our vehicles, sometimes we forget that the automatic lights are turned off, or we have it on a lower setting with just the running lights or something along those lines. We see it so frequently, and your vehicle is just way less visible. And it's important for them to be as visible as possible when these scenarios present themselves. So making sure all of your lights are on, your headlights are on, and just making sure generally that you're awake and alert, that you're paying attention, your distractions are put away, and that you're scanning well ahead of where you're traveling so that you know what's going on up ahead of you.
Yeah, so Sergeant, when we are faced with this situation, is there something better that we can do to maybe avoid a collision?
Yeah, so generally when we see these, a lot of times these wrong-way vehicles are traveling over in the left lanes for whatever reason. I don't know if they're believing that they're traveling in one of the slower lanes, or thinking that they're off on the right because they're traveling the wrong way, but really they're on the left side. And so generally we see higher speeds over there on that left side. And so we as a general motoring public, we need to make sure that we're following speed limit laws. If you see headlights coming toward you from up ahead, immediately begin to slow down in a safe manner, right? You don't want to thunder your brakes or anything along those lines. You want to slow down in a safe manner and try to move to the right as safely as possible. If you can't move to the right, slowing down is pretty much your only option, but slowing down will reduce the severity of the crash if that were to occur. And then if you can move to the right, generally these crashes do happen in the early morning or late night hours, and so traffic is usually a little lighter, and so it is important to make sure that we're making sure that the lane next to us is clear. But if you can move over to the right, that's going to be a little bit safer scenario for you.
You mentioned the seat belts and the airbags. How much of a difference do they make in this scenario?
Oh, they make a huge difference. Anytime two vehicles are traveling at a high speed and they hit head on, or even a glancing collision in that manner will prevent an ejection. And the majority of the time, individuals who are ejected from their vehicle do suffer fatal or much more severe injuries. And so they do make a difference. We do see, positive results with these safety devices that are mandated inside our vehicle, and that are mandated by state statute. And that's why they're mandated by state statute, is to increase safety inside of our vehicles. Do make a big difference.
Anything that we need to add to make sure that people can be as safe as possible?
If you do encounter a wrong-way driver, immediately call 911. That is an absolute emergency situation. Call 911. Be aware of your surroundings and your location so that you can give an accurate description of where you located the vehicle. And if you aren't, having to take drastic evasive maneuvers, just get as good a description of the vehicle as you can. How fast it was going, what lane it was in, an estimate of how fast it was going, that is, and what lane it was in. And generally, what color or kind of vehicle it is would be super helpful.
That is UHP Sergeant Mike Alexander with tips on what you can do if you come upon a wrong-way driver. We'll be back with more Midday in just 60 seconds.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
One of the 2 National Guardsmen shot in Washington, D.C. is still in the hospital this afternoon. Early today, West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey shared an update on Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf.
Andrew remains in serious condition. We did have some positive news that we were told that Andrew was asked if he could hear the nurse who asked the question to give a thumbs up, and he did respond.
20-year-old Army specialist Sarah Beckstrom, the other Guard member who was shot, died from her injuries. Speaking at a news conference this morning, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt spoke about the deadly shooting, remembering the Guardsman who died and the other who is still in the hospital.
Sarah and Andrew are heroes, and we will never forget their sacrifice. That means ensuring the monster responsible for this atrocity is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and faces the most severe punishment possible. It also means reckoning with why this atrocity was allowed to happen in the first place, so that it may never occur again.
Leavitt going on to share more on the president's response to that shooting.
The border is now secure, thanks to President Trump, but the threat in our interior remains real and urgent. These public safety threats are already inside our land, and President Trump was elected on a promise to find and remove them. And he has already taken significant steps and made significant progress towards fulfilling this promise. But there is more work to be done because President Trump believes that he has a sacred obligation to reverse the calamity of mass, unchecked migration into our country. As a result, the Trump administration is now actively re-examining all of the Afghans imported into the country by Joe Biden. Any individual who threatens our national security or our citizenry will be subject to removal.
As mentioned by Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, the Trump administration is halting all asylum applications. It comes after it was determined that the alleged suspect in that deadly National Guard shooting in D.C. recently had his asylum status approved.
We want to start with the latest information from this suspect here, where DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi both saying that this suspect in that shooting in Washington, D.C. is actually radicalized here in the United States after leaving Afghanistan. So 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakhanwal was reportedly vetted by the CIA and the National Counterterrorism Center before he entered the U.S. in 2021. We know he came as part of the Biden-era program, Operation Allies Welcome. But Noem said the Biden administration during the Afghanistan withdrawal, quote, put people on airplanes, brought them to the United States without vetting them. They brought them into our country and then said they would vet them afterwards, end quote. And that vetting was reportedly an issue across the board, too, especially for from adversarial countries. A retired Border Patrol sector chief sounding the alarm on migrants from 19 special interest countries like Afghanistan, highlighting a lack of vetting and even secrecy demanded under the Biden administration. Take a listen.
So it is possible that they could pause or delay or add additional screening mechanisms to the process. However, just a complete stop on processing indefinitely will probably not be permitted by the courts.
Okay, so she's talking about the roughly 2.4 million asylum seekers who poured across the border under the previous administration, now facing kind of a new fate here. That massive group was essentially protected under due process, but now with the administration pausing any new claims and reviewing millions of other cases, they could see their cases scrapped altogether and ultimately could be eligible for removal. And as you heard, that immigration attorney saying that that was actually legal. When speaking with reporters yesterday, meantime, on Air Force One, we heard the president actually tell our Libby Dean that we can expect to see these asylum claims paused for, quote, a very long time, saying that these individuals, some of them are, quote, no good. So, of course, an issue there that they'll be working through when it comes to the vetting process and that vetting system being an issue that retired Border Patrol chief brought attention to as well.
That is News Nation's Allie Bradley reporting. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth under scrutiny for a reported second strike on alleged drug boat leaving Venezuela. More on that after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
All lanes now open. Those orange barrels have been put away eastbound I-80, approaching Foothill and I-215's East Belt, and the backups have cleared. We are back to a quiet drive on all the Valley freeways. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The holidays are just around the corner, and Western Nut Company is here to make your gifting a breeze. From our beautiful gift baskets and nut boxes to our famous in-house fudge and brittle, we've got treats for every taste bud, crafted with the highest quality ingredients. Corporate gifting, that's our specialty. Just send us your list and we'll handle the rest. Beautifully packed, shipped with care, and guaranteed to impress. Calling all office managers or executive assistants. Call Western Nut now and let us make your holidays a little less nuts. But we actually do want you to eat more nuts. For 60 years, Western Nut has been a proud Utah tradition. Stop by our downtown shop for unique gifts, glittering ornaments, festive decor, and so much more. Western Nut Company, more than just the best gifts in Utah. We're a holiday tradition, in-store or online at westernut.com, where quality meets tradition, and every gift is packed with love.
Higher taxes, soaring inflation, record low interest rates, and the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. The list goes on. Retiring successfully today is a lot more complicated than ever before. Learn how you can tackle the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement today. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio. It's this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL, News Radio 1027.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Fallout continues against the Department of Defense over a reported second strike on a drug boat leaving Venezuela, killing 2 survivors. Here's ABC's Perry Russum with more.
Bipartisan fallout over the Trump administration's escalating military campaign in the Caribbean. The Washington Post reports after U.S. forces carried out a strike in September on a suspected drug boat that left 2 survivors struggling in the water, a second strike was carried out to kill them. This was allegedly done to comply with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's initial orders to kill all passengers on the boat. Now lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say Hegseth may have violated international law.
This rises to the level of a war crime if it's true.
When people want to surrender, you don't kill them, and they have to pose an imminent threat. It's hard to believe that 2 people on a raft trying to survive would pose an imminent threat.
Hegseth defending his orders, saying the intent is to stop lethal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco terrorists who are poisoning the American people. Biden coddled terrorists, we kill them. President Trump responding to the report.
I'm going to find out about it, but Pete said he did not order the death of those 2 men.
Some experts argue even if Hegseth did not order that second strike, it may still be a violation of the laws of war. It comes as President Trump escalates his threats against Venezuela, warning all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Venezuela calling that warning a colonialist threat to its sovereignty. Trump was asked whether his airspace comment means strikes against Venezuela are imminent.
Don't read anything into it.
Trump revealing he has spoken to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, but not sharing details.
A short time ago, the White House said Admiral Mitch Bradley made the call to fire a second time. While Americans celebrated Thanksgiving, negotiations continued over possible peace deals between Ukraine and Russia. Now, despite efforts to negotiate a peace deal, there are still a lot of wrinkles that need to be ironed out. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Ukraine with more. Here he is on the Start Here podcast with Brad Milkey.
This was basically a follow-up from the meeting that had taken place in Geneva between basically the 3 most senior U.S. diplomats, for want of a better word. So Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, he doesn't have an actual portfolio, but we know he was instrumental in the Hamas-Israel peace deal, and he has been involved in the negotiations over Ukraine. Steve Witkoff, who, of course, is a special envoy, who's been involved heavily in the Middle East and also has been dealing with Moscow, as well as Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. And on the other side, you had a senior Ukrainian delegation, and they were going over the points, the 19 points that had been agreed or discussed in Geneva, hammering out some of the finer print.
There are a lot of moving parts, and obviously there's another party involved here that'll have to be a part of the equation, and that'll continue later this week when Mr. Witkoff travels to Moscow.
We now know that Steve Witkoff, he's going to get on a plane today and he's going to meet Vladimir Putin on Tuesday, that he's going to take this document to Putin and see what the Russians have to say about it. So, look, this is serious. They look serious. There is momentum, and there's real pressure from President Trump for an agreement to be reached.
Another strike, but the attacks continue. Another strike in eastern Ukraine has led to the deaths of at least 4 people, with 40 hurt.
The sirens were ringing where we are in the northeast of the country. We spent the day on Sunday in Kharkiv. You can see the bomb damage everywhere. The war is uppermost on everyone's minds. It's only 30 miles from the border. And we've been in Kyiv. Kyiv was hit heavily over the weekend again. Repeated heavy attacks. In fact, President Zelensky said the entirety of the last week, so say ending on Saturday night, Sunday morning, there'd been 1,400 drone and missile attacks just in the space of a week. And that is the reality on the ground. 4 killed in the capital, Kyiv, and dozens injured over the weekend. And every single night, Ukrainians, civilians, families are dying. And there's nothing unusual about that. That is the extraordinary thing here. And that is the context in which we've got to view the peace talks, not least because any decision that's going to be taken by Ukraine, I think this is a point that Ukrainians are strenuously trying to get across to the American delegation, has to be approved by a referendum.
Oh, wait, referendum like meaning all Ukrainians or something, Ian?
Exactly. All Ukrainians have to get a say in this.
Wow.
So the president can't just go, yep, sure, I agree, which is how I think some people imagine this is going to take place.
Right.
For all its many flaws, and we know about these corruption allegations, it is a very democratic country, and anything that's agreed in these talks first has to go to the parliament, and then has to go to a referendum. And that's why some of these issues, like conceding territory, are so controversial, because Zelensky knows that it'll never get passed in a referendum. Ukrainians have lost too much. And again, that's what I heard today.
It's stupid. I don't know why they are doing.
Panel says that there in Ukraine, there's virtually no expectation that the deal being worked on will be approved by Russia. The pessimism that a ceasefire will come growing day by day.
The feeling on the ground is that nothing really will happen, at least until spring next year. And in terms of the front line, it has to stabilize. In other words, Ukraine can't possibly negotiate from a position of weakness, which is pretty much what they've got at the moment. They're confident they can reverse that, and then they can start talking. But the two sides are miles apart. Russia wants this land. Not just the land it's already taken over almost 12 years of occupation of Ukraine, but it wants even more land. It wants the entirety of Donbass, even land it's been unable to take. And Ukraine wants security guarantees.
Panel says that hope is growing dim in Ukraine, with many doubting that the U.S. or other Western countries will be able to solve this conflict. Many leaders in Ukraine saying there needs to be firm security guarantees to achieve a lasting peace. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Snow and rain yesterday, cold temperatures this morning. We'll get a recap of Sunday's storm and a preview of two storms coming later this week. The controversy over the Utah 2034 Olympic logo continues, and KSL traffic. Ricky?
We are all clear on I-15 between Ogden and Provo. Maria?
Well, looks like today is the dry day before another storm approaches tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow with a high of 42 degrees, but a 60% chance of showers, and then that chance of showers decreasing on Wednesday. Right now, 39 degrees downtown. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The price of Zepbound, one of Eli Lilly's popular weight loss drugs, has been reduced for those paying out of pocket. ABC's Rihanna Nally has details.
The lowest dose of the weight loss drug will now be $299 per month. That is down $50. The highest doses also get a $50 price slash to $449. It is important to note, though, these prices are for people who do not have insurance who are buying Zepbound directly from Eli Lilly's website.
There is growing bipartisan support for a review of U.S. military strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug vessels in the Caribbean after the Washington Post reported 2 men were killed in September during a second strike after surviving the first U.S. hit, which could be a violation of war laws, according to experts. The White House says Navy Admiral Frank Bradley issued the follow-up strike and says acted within the authority of the law. Americans are scanning online sales on this Cyber Monday. Retailers reported robust Black Friday sales already. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. 17 people have been arrested in connection with an alleged cockfighting ring in Provo. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has more.
During a welfare check on 600 South in Provo, officers discovered previous reports of animal fighting on the property. To investigate, detectives flew a drone over the area where they saw people going in and out of a shed in the backyard. When an officer got close enough, he saw flashing lights and heard chickens crowing. According to an affidavit, the officers got a warrant and cleared the property. Officers found more than 50 dead roosters as well as hundreds of live chickens.
The affidavit says the room also contained several trophies that were labeled with various chicken-related achievements. Other local stories KSL is following. The weekend snowstorm brought a few inches of powder to the canyons and resorts, but not much in the way of water.
Even though November was pretty dry, the supervisor for the Utah Snow Survey says there's no need to panic about not having enough water next year.
The precipitation and soil moisture are actually positive stories for the state of Utah right now.
Statewide percent of normal is 106% right now for precipitation in Utah's mountains, so we're a little bit above normal for this time of year. A lot of that was boosted by the October precip.
Jordan Clayton says because we got all that water in October before the ground was covered in snow and frozen over, it was able to absorb a lot of that water, which will make the runoff more efficient next spring. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Crews are out in Davis County today moving water and power infrastructure to make way for an extension of the West Davis Highway. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
While roadwork slows way down this time of year, utility companies are busy preparing for UDOT's plans for the spring. In particular, a 2-mile extension on SR 177 in Davis County.
Out in that area, there's not a lot of contiguous north-south corridors.
Mitch Shaw with UDOT says this project will take a couple of years to complete, but based on the first installment of the highway, the expansion will be well worth the wait.
When we opened up West Davis, we saw an immediate kind of freeing up of I-15.
The extension is from SR 193 to 1800 North in Davis County. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 354 points, about 0.75%, sitting at 47,364. S&P down by 31, and the Nasdaq down by 87 points. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
All lanes open eastbound I-80 prior to the Foothill exit, and delays have cleared. All our Valley freeways are seeing a nice and quiet drive with no accidents, no delays, and that includes I-15 both directions in Weber, Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah counties. When you take UTA, you can do just about anything while you ride. You won't even notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today is the dry day, but showers returning, about a 60% chance tomorrow and 30% chance on Wednesday. Then it looks like Thursday's dry, and then unsettled weather it looks like for the weekend. 39 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Join Lagoon's construction team and help build the fun. Lagoon is now hiring full-time, year-round CDL heavy equipment operators, concrete finishers, and plumbers. 18 years or older. Apply to lagoonpark.com/jobs.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Did you wake up to a winter wonderland over the weekend? If you didn't, you probably woke up to some cold temperatures behind yesterday's storm. KSL meteorologist Evan Mashuli tells me that the storm might not have done a ton down here in the valley, but it was a decent snowfall for resorts in the mountains.
So it looked like the mountain that had the most was Snow Basin. They had about 8 inches of snow. Areas like Alta had about 7. And then there were a few that had 6 inches. I think it was Deer Valley Resort had 6 inches, Snowbird, and there's another one, Brighton, I believe, all had right around 6 inches. So not a ton, but we'll take it, a decent little coating. And it's so cold that a lot of ski resorts have had their snow guns on since last night. So they're really trying to pack on to add on what we got yesterday.
The thing that was most notable to me was the drastic drop in the temperature.
Yeah.
We went from above normal to what? Below normal?
Yeah.
Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, we dropped into the mid-20s this morning, which is the coldest air we felt so far this season. And the normal low for December 1st is, I believe, 28 or 27 degrees. So kind of where we should be, but you're right, we've kind of been spoiled where we've been in the 30s, and we actually ended the month of November 7 degrees warmer than normal. So it just shows that November was warm. It was also dry. And today we kind of met winter, climatological winter with a blast of cold air.
So does this weekend's storm, does it look like it's going to set a trend for things to come this month?
I don't know. It could, because there's equal chances that our pattern could flip and we could get more active storms through here. It looks like a lot of storms, at least in the next week or so, are going to continue to favor a path north of Utah, or just kind of coming diagonally down from the northwest to the southeast and clipping northern Utah. So it's hard to say how the whole month will turn out, but at least in the next 7 to 14 days, it looks like a ridge could easily slide into the western United States and it could keep storms up and around us. Or we can keep that ridge just to our west and we can just get clipped. So it looks like it'll favor a northern Utah pattern. And yeah, that's pretty much
this week, what are we going to see this week?
So we have a storm coming in tomorrow, and that will linger through Wednesday, and it's very similar to how Sunday's storm was. It'll kind of come in 2 pieces instead of all at once. So it looks like we'll first have a piece that will come through tomorrow morning, and given that temperatures will be cold again, if we are able to get precipitation over the valleys and it can reach the ground, then that would come in the form of snow first initially tomorrow, especially up in the mountains. And then we'll kind of see a little bit of a lull, say midday, and then later on, late afternoon, early evening, we'll see it another piece come through. And that, again, could bring initially rain showers to the valleys and then a transition to snow. And the whole time, this will be snowing in the mountains. So similar totals, less than an inch in the valleys, 2 to 4 inches in the benches, which is actually kind of what we saw this past storm. And we're going 4 to 10 inches, just a wide range for the mountains because, this last storm, it was only about 5 inches. But if we can get lake effect snow, which is a solid chance we could get some bands, that can produce more up in the cottonwoods.
When I think snow, I think wet, but I understand this was a fairly dry storm, so not much water content in the snow.
Yeah, it was coming from Western Canada, so instead of having kind of that maritime over the ocean component, it just came right from, inland Canada. So there's not a lot of moisture already. Arctic air is cold, dry air. So it had a little bit of moisture given its proximity to Northwest, like the Pacific Northwest, but it didn't have a ton. And this one's coming from a very similar spot. So hopefully when we head into the weekend where we're watching another storm, Friday, Saturday time frame. This one might have more of a come from the west, so it comes in with more moisture, and hopefully that can come into Utah instead of continuing to shift north. But right now, I just have chance for precipitation on Friday into Saturday. So I'm not getting too optimistic, but I want to keep the hope up that we're tracking something and hopefully it can come through northern Utah.
Okay, tomorrow's storm, when do you expect that to hit?
So first piece in the morning, so early. So it could happen. It can begin overnight, like 3 a.m., continue through about 7 and 8 locally along the Wasatch Front. And then we might see that break through about the early afternoon, and then that other piece will come through. So not a complete washout tomorrow, kind of watching those 2 bands. And the morning one might not come through for the valleys, but I think in the evening, certainly, it looks like when we have a better push for some precipitation to make to the ground and see some evening snowflakes. So.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Like Devin just said, the weekend snowfall didn't do a ton to help Utah's water reserves. Supervisor for the Utah Snow Survey, Jordan Clayton, tells KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff that not all snow is created equal. And while dry snow might be nice for winter sports, it's not great for Utah's water.
The principal thing that we're most concerned about here from the perspective of the Snow Survey Office is the water content of the snowpack. And the way that we measure that is with the SNOTEL weather network that's in Utah's mountains, and that has sensors that feel the weight of the snowpack with special pressure sensors and snow pillows that we use. And so in addition to the number of inches of snow depth that we get, we also know the density of the snow and therefore how much water content the snow has. And from that perspective, we can make forecasts about how much water the state's going to have once all the snow melts, which is important because that's where Utah gets by far most of its snow. So from that perspective, if we're looking at the water content of the entire state's snowpack right now, we're way below where we would like to be for this time of year. We're at about the 7th percentile, meaning that 93% of the time we've done better than this for this particular date. We've had worse, but you don't want to be in, the bottom 10th percentile. That's obviously not great. We're about 46% of normal, which again is well below the standard, if you will. The caution that I like to use this time of year, however, is that normal amount of snow is still quite low. Obviously, if you're talking about a ski resort or some recreation perspective, we want the snow as quickly as possible, but when we're thinking about it from a water supply perspective, we still have a lot of time to accumulate more and more snow and have that water supply available when it all melts. And so we're disappointed in the numbers so far, but the normal for this time of year is still pretty low as we're just beginning our accumulation phase. And so it's almost premature to talk about kind of percent of normal numbers now, since, again, the normal is still pretty low.
So no need to fret just yet. It's still early in the season. Midday continues in just 30 seconds.
Find fresh holiday decor and gift ideas at the 25th Annual Simple Treasures Boutique with 250 local shops and vendors. One of the largest gift and best treasure hunting shows. Thousands of items for any taste and style. You dream it, they'll have it. Instagram social-worthy holiday gifts and home items you've been pinning on your pages in real life. Simply perfect, simply unique, simply affordable. This week at Western Sports Park in Farmington. Tickets at simpletreasures.boutique.
It's had a lot of people talking over the past week. Everyone seems to have an opinion about the Utah 2034 transitional logo for the Winter Games unveiled last Monday. Nate Morley from the design company Works Collective says there's a reason people care so deeply about this.
As you think about, projects like this, people have very, very strong feelings about sport, about the place that they're from, and they want to represent them, about culture, and certainly about the Olympics. And we are sitting at sort of the center of all of these things that people care deeply about. So as Steve mentioned, there's definitely always feelings in response to projects like this.
Now, Morley explained that they created this design so it would reflect the unique curvatures of Utah's landscapes while also incorporating state history.
The brief on this project was essentially, looking at the state holistically. And how do we be representative of all that Utah is and the diversity, not only in its people, but in landscapes and all the things that Utah is and can be. And so we obviously took a look at the landscape, one of the most unique, beautiful landscapes that exists on Earth. These otherworldly red rock shapes that we all know and love from the southern portion of the state to the dramatic peaks and, the snowy, icy mountains that we find throughout the state. So we take inspiration from the landscape, and in the next slide, we also take inspiration from the history of the state. So looking at, indigenous people and some of the legacy that was left there. And then even on the next slide still, looking at sort of the urban design of, how the city of Salt Lake, for example, and so many cities actually are laid out in Utah, and this incredibly rigid, sort of very organized grid system. So how do you, our challenge as a design firm was, how do you take the totality of all these inputs, the landscape, the totality of the state, some of these distinct elements from history, from from more modern history with this grid system. How do you bring it all together in a way that can represent the state?
The reviews of the logo have been mixed. Some people find the font hard to read. Others say it reminds them of logos from the 60s and 70s, the extraterrestrial highway or the Flintstones, but some like it and say it's edgy and unique. Love it or hate it, the team's brand advisor says their posts about the logo were viewed nearly 600,000 times in just the first 48 hours, and their number of followers doubled on Facebook. Fraser Bullock, executive chair and president of the board, reiterated, though, that this is just a transitional logo and it will change after the LA Summer Olympics in 2028.
It's part of the new process, and particularly with our games that are awarded so far out. And there's already games in the U.S. with LA. We have, given that we have the games awarded, they wanted to give us some recognition. And so until the LA games are over, we want to make sure the major focus in the United States and in the world relative to Olympic Games in this country is on LA. And so they have the full bandwidth of logos and game marks and things that they can do that they're taking advantage of. And frankly, they've done a fabulous job. So until then, we're behind them. And so we just have a limited exposure that we can do. That's why it's called this transition phase, where basically the only thing we can do is the font and host communities recognition underneath. So we're limited to that until after the LA Games.
Bullock says the board believes that as more people understand how the logo encompasses Utah, the more they will come to appreciate it. The spirit of the holiday season on full display ahead of tomorrow's Giving Tuesday. My conversation with a local artist who's making pajamas for struggling children and their families coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
It's pretty quiet out on the roads, and that's our freeways, the main secondaries, light traffic, good speeds, and no problems. And this is the time of year we normally expect holiday traffic and increased volume. But right now, enjoy it while you can. Traffic rolling along on I-15, 215, I-80, and the 21st South Freeway. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night with my wife, Dee, we saw Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was delightful. I have a little confession. You know the song, Let It Go? My little granddaughters sing that so much that I'm afraid I haven't fully appreciated it until I saw it performed at Hale Center Theater. The artistry of the presentation and the staging brought that song to life for me. I have become a true believer. And the puppetry at Hale Center Theater, when they bring Sven out and when they have Olaf, you are going to love it. And don't forget, they have special presentations of Frozen where you can bring the younger kids. We've already got that booked for our family. It's Frozen on the stage right now at Hale Center Theater. And of course, you've got to make sure you get your tickets for A Christmas Carol. It always sells out. And by the way, Frozen is selling out very, very fast. Go to hct.org and lock down those tickets. Get season tickets for the holidays and so much more. hct.org.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Honey, look. 4 calling birds.
Do they have cell phones?
Well, yeah. They're called calling birds because they have 4 lines of Cricket 5G.
How do they pay?
Oh, easy. Each line is only $25 a month.
Who are they calling?
Beats me. One sec, gotta take this.
Join Cricket Nation and get 4 lines for $25 per month each. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. New lines only. All lines must be selected. Unlimited plan fees. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. See cricketwireless.com for details.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The holiday season is full of special shopping days, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, which is today, and Giving Tuesday tomorrow. For tomorrow's special day, a small Utah pajama company is looking to give back 1 pajama at a time. The founder and designer of Little Laura Lane, Kayla Naylor, has launched a Giving Tuesday event. Now, she gets emotional when she talks about her company's journey to help children and families facing tough life challenges.
We have done so much to get to this point. I have always loved surface pattern design, and I've loved kids and babies, and I've loved helping, giving back. And so really my goal with Little Laura Lane is to provide comfort and hope to children in need, and especially those in medical or financial need. And it's been quite the journey so far, just through all of these ups and downs, but somehow we've been able to keep succeeding. And really, I just want to get our name out there to show that we can make a difference. We've had a lot of opportunities so far to do that, and I just am so grateful for every single one.
You are doing something special for Giving Tuesday. Describe for us what that is.
Yes, so for Giving Tuesday, every pajama that is purchased, we are going to give one back to a family in need. So on our website, we have a nomination page where you can go in and nominate a family that is in need. And we do our best through our give back boxes to send them pajamas or send them other comfort items. Sometimes we get donations from other businesses to be able to help them as well. But this Giving Tuesday, for every pajama purchased, we are giving 1 pajama back. And so we are going to hopefully send pajamas first to all the nominations that we've received, because we've received so many beautiful, heartbreaking stories. For example, one of the stories we've received is a family that just had twins, but one was born with a terminal brain cancer. And so he is going to pass away, and we just want to make sure that we can help as best we can. So every purchase will be able to send a pajama back to one of these families. And if we get more than how many submissions we have, we are planning on making a donation to Primary Children's Hospital.
Did you ever expect it to be this successful?
Honestly, no. It's just been trial and error so far. I've found my own manufacturer. I've built my website. I've built all my social medias. I hand drew all of these patterns. everything I've just pushed through, and tried to keep going. And it's starting to really take off. And I'm just so proud of this little company and what it's become.
Tell us about some of the other people that you have helped. You highlighted a few in a press release that
Yeah.
you sent to us, and I'd love to hear about them.
Yes. Okay. So recently, the most recent one we did was a give back box for a family. Their little boy was born with spina bifida. And so while in utero, he had a surgery and he had multiple surgeries afterwards. And this family, the little boy is in the NICU for over 60 days. They also have a toddler who has been staying with their grandparents. And it's just been so hard for this little family. So we donated them pajamas and a couple other little items. We've got blankets. We donated toys and gift cards and just a bunch of little things that could make a little bit of difference and give some light and hope in their lives. We're also working towards releasing a special pajama. A little boy from Lehi, Utah, he was diagnosed with cancer just before his first birthday, which was a couple months ago. And I've worked closely with his mom to create a print for him. And so we are going to make a pajama for him that'll be released in March, where all of the proceeds of that pajama are going to go straight back to that family.
So tell us a little bit about your name and how this all got started.
Yes. So Little Laura Lane is named after my great aunt Laura. And sorry, I'm going to get emotional again. My great aunt was a wonderful lady. She unfortunately passed away quite a few years ago, but she was the first person to ever believe in my art. I actually was an engineer and worked as an engineer for a number of years. But she would always tell me to send her my drawings or to paint more or to draw more. But she never gave up on me in that. And I've kind of made my full circle back to it as I become a mom and found my passion again for art. And so it's named in honor of her.
So how do people find out more about you and your Giving Tuesday event?
So our Giving Tuesday event is on our website at www.littleLauraLane.com. And we're also really active on our social media. So on Instagram, on Facebook, and TikTok, it's at Little Laura Lane.
Kayla Naylor with Little Laura Lane, hoping her pajamas bring emotional comfort and financial relief to families with medically fragile or struggling children this Giving Tuesday. You will be able to see her fun designs on our social media accounts. Just look for KSL News Radio on Facebook and on Instagram. We are already in the throes of the flu season a bit earlier than normal, and there's concern that the flu vaccine might not be as effective against a new strain making the rounds. So should you still get the shot? What doctors are saying coming up in the next hour of Midday.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It started as a standard welfare check and turned into quite the discovery. A massive cockfighting ring in Provo. More than 300 birds involved and many of them found dead.
When you're cockfighting, it's not like a boxing match. The animal wins by killing the other animal, and they're adorned with razors. They're not using just their normal claws. There's razors and things put on their legs.
The time is 2:00 on Monday, December 1st. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has been digging into the story and has perspective from a retired law enforcement man. Also this hour,
I mean, I'm a strong encourager to not procrastinate when it comes to the online shopping.
From last Friday until tomorrow, we are in the middle of the major holiday shopping season. We'll get some tips to make sure your presents get delivered on time so you don't end up on the naughty list. But first, our top stories. A man has died after police say he was hit by a car early this morning in West Jordan. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is at the scene with what we know.
This happened just before 7 a.m. near 9300 South Redwood Road. Police say the man was not in a crosswalk at the time of the crash. West Jordan Police Detective Rhonda Field says one driver saw him and stopped, but she says another did not have enough time to react.
Redwood Road is a very busy road, all time of the day, all time of the night. So regardless of whether it's lit outside, it's not safe to cross outside of the crosswalks.
Field says it was also still dark at the time of the crash. We don't know yet where the man was trying to go since most of this stretch is lined with businesses. Police say the driver of the car involved stayed at the scene and is cooperating with their investigation. Investigators are still working to reach the man's family before they release his name publicly. They say he's in his late 40s or early 50s. In West Jordan, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News, Ukraine and Russia are still working out a peace deal.
It's something of a crunch week for President Trump's peace efforts. His special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is going to be traveling to Moscow today. He's expected to give Vladimir Putin a plan to end the war when they meet tomorrow at the Kremlin. This follows high-level talks in Florida over the weekend between the US and Ukraine. Both sides were calling it productive publicly, but there's no real sign that they were able to reach agreement on the most difficult issues blocking a deal.
That is ABC's Ian Pannell. Ukraine has been hesitant to give up territory to the Russians, while Russia has wanted the territory they seized, as well as a guarantee that Ukraine would never join NATO. European leaders say they need certain guarantees that Russia wouldn't invade Ukraine again. More from ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge.
Another key issue for the Europeans is the frozen Russian assets. Now, $200 billion roughly worth of frozen financial Russian assets are held in Europe, and therefore the Europeans are saying they have to be at the table, they have to be in the negotiations, and the Europeans and the Ukrainians are pushing for what they say has to be a durable and robust peace.
While figuring out the details, another strike in eastern Ukraine hurt 40 people and killed at least 4. Taking a look at your money at this moment, at the close, the Dow down by 427 points. That's nearly a full percent, sitting at 47,289. S&P down by 36. The NASDAQ down by 90 points. Traffic and weather, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
Traffic on the Valley freeways rolling along and looking good. We do have crews wrapping up a crash in the South Salt Lake area, 20th South at 3rd West. Looking for the ultimate holiday gift? That's what you get at Minky Couture, the original luxury blanket company. Use code KSL50 online and in stores to receive 50% off. Visit minkycouture.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
39 for a high today, 42 tomorrow with a 60% chance of showers and a 30% chance on Wednesday. 39 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
A stiff chair makes you sit. An X chair lets you float. Upgrade to an X chair, engineered for better posture and focus. The secret? Patented lumbar support that adjusts instantly. SiFloat Infinite Recline that moves effortlessly with you. X chair is next level ergonomic seating that truly floats. Right now, you can save up to 50% with the X Chair holiday sale. Supplies are limited, so visit xchair.com today for up to 50% off. That's xchair.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're planning to propose this holiday, we're ready to make creating your engagement ring a warm, welcoming experience. At Shane Company, we're all about your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Explore the widest selection of diamonds and ring settings ready for you to see in person, or visit us at shaneco.com. You'll have your ring in days, not weeks. Our friendly jewelry consultants don't work on commission. There's never any pressure, just perfect proposals. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are learning more about a discovery in Provo that started as a welfare check and led officers finding a full-fledged cockfighting ring. The incident taking place behind a home on 600 South. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is with me in studio. And Eric, you've been digging into what officers walked into and how something this big even hides in a Utah neighborhood.
That's right, Maria. And this keeps getting bigger, actually. Provo police now say there were 17 arrests and more than 300 birds on the property, many of them dead. Officers originally showed up just to check on someone at the home on 600 South. And once they got a drone up, they saw crowds of people moving in and out of a backyard shed. When officers moved in, more than 100 people took off running, and inside that shed, they found what amounted to a cockfighting arena.
300 birds? I mean, that is stunning. You talked with a former FBI agent about how something this big exists in Utah, let alone Provo.
I did. Former FBI agent Greg Rogers has actually come across rings like this during undercover work, not just roosters, but also pit bull fighting operations too. And he told me these events are incredibly violent.
It's sadly not uncommon, and it's brutal. I mean, it's you saw all the number of dead roosters. I mean, when you're cockfighting, it's not like a boxing match. The animal wins by killing the other animal, and they're adorned with razors. They're not using just their normal claws. There's razors and things put on their legs that are designed to be lethal. So these are brutal things to watch, but there's a whole lot of money involved in the gambling around cockfighting.
Hard for me to even listen to, let alone watch. I mean, how does something this violent stay hidden? Now, you said officers saw people fleeing in every direction?
Right, and Rogers says that's because these rings are wrapped up in criminal networks, drug dealing, weapons, illegal gambling at times, and those groups don't let outsiders anywhere near these events. And here's the interesting part. His undercover missions in narcotics often led him straight into these rings.
They're careful who they invite. They have to know, who's coming to the matches. I infiltrated several of these types of organizations as an undercover, but it was always through a narcotics case. So I'd be buying large amounts of narcotics from somebody that was into cockfighting or pit bull fighting, and they'd invite me and take me, to one of the events. So I got in based on their credibility. You can't just show up and walk into one of these matches.
So for investigators stumbling onto a major operation like this just through a welfare check, that's actually extremely rare.
Okay, so if they don't usually discover them by accident, how are they uncovered?
So Roger shares how often it's because these criminals slip in other ways.
More often than not, what happens is someone gets arrested for some offense, like, they get a DUI or they get caught with a small amount of narcotics. So they say to the investigating officer, hey, I know about this huge cockfighting ring or this pit bull fighting ring, and they try to cut a deal. That's probably the most common way these things are discovered.
And that tells you the scale here. These aren't small backyard operations. These are organized criminal worlds with a lot of money at stake, which is why Rogers says never try to confront something like this yourself. He says call police or animal control, let them handle it, because the people who attend these fights can be armed, violent, and deeply connected to other crimes.
All right. Thank you, Eric. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera staying on top of this one for us. The Iron County School District is considering shortening the school week from 5 days down to 4 days. Now the district is asking for people to weigh in on the proposal. I spoke with the district's communications director, Shauna Lund, to learn more about the idea.
The proposal first came out in mid-October. The Board of Education asked the superintendent to look at the possibility as we were looking at just missing out on some tax increase funding and also some failed bonds in the past. And so they wanted to see if maybe this could save the school district a little bit of money, but it's gone way past that now. Currently, it is just a proposal, but we're finding all kinds of things as we look into this, and ultimately it will be up to the board to decide if we want to move forward and propose this to the state or if it just was a good idea to look into.
Okay, so what is the savings that you've found?
So far the savings would be in the first couple of years. What the school district would look at is a possible a freeze for the COLA for our employees because they would be working fewer days. And ultimately, we would be saving in the transportation department because that would be one less school day where we would be transporting kids. But after about 2 years, the district doesn't see much of a savings.
Okay, so how would that work for the kids? You're talking for longer days, or what are you talking here?
Each school, depending on what grade they're in, would see about a 20 to 30-minute addition at the end of the day that would be added. And then we would have 2 Monday holidays, President's Day and Martin Luther King Day, that the students currently get. We would not get those, as well as a Monday fall break. And so that all adds up that really the biggest loss that we can see at one level is about 8 hours throughout the school year.
So what has the reaction to this been so far?
The reaction has been really interesting. We have about 71% of our staff members who are saying that they think this is a really good option. And then when you look at parents, we did a parent survey as well, and we're looking at about 67% that are in favor of the 4-day school week. This was kind of a non-scientific survey, and after our town hall tomorrow night, we're going to actually do one where they would receive a unique link, and it would be a little more scientific. So we want to make sure we know how our parents are feeling about this.
Okay, so the town hall is for parents to get involved now. Where is that and what time?
We have 3 different locations at each of our high schools, so Cedar High School, Canyon View High School, and Parowan High School, and those are tomorrow, Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 p.m.
Okay, and is there, for those who maybe can't attend, is there another way for them to get involved?
We do not have a live stream, but we do accept comments continuing. They can send an email to the district, and we can take that information, and then we will be sending that survey out again with that unique link, and on that is a possibility to give comment as well.
All right. Shauna, when do you expect a decision on this?
So we expect the Board of Education here in Iron County to make a decision by January. Then it would go to the state, and we don't know what the timeline would be with the state, but we hope to get that to them by late January.
That is Iron County School District's Communications Director, Shauna Lund, speaking about a proposal to shorten the school week to 4 days in that county. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2025. Last chance! Donate now for a 2025 tax deduction.
Some years are worse than others when it comes to the flu. That means some years the flu shot isn't as effective as one would hope. A nasty flu season has already popped up in Japan and the United Kingdom earlier than normal. Now, this has doctors and public health officials concerned, while many people wonder if they should even bother getting a flu vaccine this year. ABC medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton sat down with Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast with his thoughts.
There are certainly years when it is worse than other years. So far in the emergency room,
I can tell you from my own anecdotal experience as an ER doctor working here in New York City and the numbers that we're seeing across the United States, the numbers of flu cases are still relatively low. But important to note here, the government shutdown led to a lack of reporting that doesn't give us a clear picture about what exactly is going on, and that is why we look abroad.
Yeah, wait, what are the clues then that you're getting from abroad?
Yeah, so important to note here, UK and Japan are what we're keeping our eye on. They've had an earlier and heavier flu season associated to this new strain of the flu. It's a subvariant of the H3N2 flu.
That is influenza A. When there's mutations on those surface proteins, the proteins on the outside of the virus, that's when we get to subclade. So subclade K has mutations on those proteins.
It can get confusing, but in short, there's a new variant of the flu, and it's wreaking havoc in UK. Japan has already called an influenza epidemic, and it likely was associated with the recent difficult flu season in Australia. Understand, they're in the southern hemisphere. They've just completed their flu season, so we look to Australia as an indicator of what we might experience this year.
So what is different about this strain of the flu, and what is making it so much worse than the other strains?
The symptoms seem pretty much the same, and we've seen that year after year, what you would expect. The body aches, the fevers, the chills, the cough, the difficulty breathing at times.
And the most vulnerable are going to be the elderly, so those over 65, kids under 5, immunocompromised, pregnant people, and also people with underlying chronic conditions, so diabetes, cardiovascular disease, lung disease.
But really important to note here is that unfortunately it seems that this strain was created after the flu vaccine that we're using was manufactured. That creates a problem that we call in science a mismatch, and that creates concern that this strain might be better able to evade our immune response and reduce the effectiveness of our current flu vaccines.
The normal flu shots available every year might seem pretty generic, but they are actually targeting specific strains of the flu, generally the strain that scientists predict will make the rounds the most. The problem is that the vaccine is created pretty early in the year. And when newer strains pop up after the vaccine has been created, well, that's when the mismatch happens.
This strain appeared over the summer, and that's when we started to keep our eye on it. Because the flu vaccine was essentially created during the spring, as you said, a prediction of what is to be expected, and unfortunately, you can't expect everything. The flu virus loves to change what it looks like. That is why we continue to have the conversation about it season after season.
Wait, which I imagine then is going to make our listener go, wait, is the flu shot pointless? And yet doctors are saying absolutely not. So why make that case?
That's what we look to history for. So we have seen these mismatches occur before in history, as early as 2014. And when you look at the data, it tells us that flu vaccines were still effective. There's a biological reasoning here. Your immune system is perfectly imperfect. It creates antibodies that not only respond to the vaccine, but also creates antibodies that look similar to what it might expect the flu to change into, but can help you survive if that flu strain will change. That is what scientists are hoping continues to protect us this winter.
Dr. Sutton says that even without the flu shot, there are many things you can do to help prevent the spread of illness, such as washing your hands, wearing a face mask if you're coughing around people who are coughing, and staying home when you're sick. As the holiday season moves on, so too do the packages. After the break, we'll get some shipping tips. You probably don't need any shopping tips. You've done enough, right? Shipping tips to make sure the holiday cheer gets to your loved ones in time. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
Southbound I-15, we already have traffic that's a little heavy as you go Murray and Midvale down to 90th South Sandy, especially just as you're passing 7200 South. No major delays. It's just pretty crowded. But we are enjoying a delay-free, crash-free drive on the freeways and main secondaries. Step aboard history, walk through recreations, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic, the exhibition. Open now at the shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, a new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
If you're getting new gutters, make absolutely sure that you don't get screwed. I mean literally, don't get screwed. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And every single gutter company out there uses screws to hold their gutters together at the corners and downspouts. They use screws because they're fast and cheap and easy. But man, they're terrible for your gutters, aside from possibly cutting your hand. They also loosen and corrode over time because they're not made from the same metal as the gutters. At RGS Exteriors, we've been installing gutters for 70 years now, and we don't use screws. We only use permanent, strong, and unobtrusive rivets. They're made from the same material as the gutters, so they won't oxidize and they won't corrode. They'll also never loosen. Your hand is safe too. Did I mention they look amazing? So don't get screwed. Call RGS and get riveted gutters. Our number is 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsutah.com.
Attention Jazz Nation. We know you've been waiting on the edge of your seat, and the time has finally arrived. All tickets are available now. Let's go! Your favorite players will be back on the court, bringing the energy all season long. Whether you're looking for season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, there's a perfect option for every kind of fan. Show up loud and proud at Delta Center this season. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action. Buy your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
Quiet down, here she comes.
Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends, near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
Happy holiday! It's the holiday season, and Santa Claus is coming round. The Christmas snow is white on the ground.
Well, Santa Claus might bring most of your presents this holiday season, but that doesn't mean you won't also try to send some gifts of your own. And with the peak holiday shopping season now underway, it means those people responsible for delivering your packages to their destinations are hard at work. Call them your own proverbial Santas driving big vans instead of a reindeer-drawn sleigh. At DHL Supply Chain North America in Ohio, that means the warehouse is full of workers aided by robots who are feverishly getting those packages ready for shipping. DHL's president of e-commerce, Craig Foreman, tells me how retailers are preparing to meet the demand this holiday season.
Well, it's been an interesting year. There's been many different challenges and disruptions that they've faced throughout the year, such as tariff changes and other things along those lines. But they've all done an amazing job. They've taken different routes to get here, but they've all done a pretty amazing job getting the inventory to the right place at the right time, which is why we're in a great place to satisfy people's orders for Cyber Monday. And we're excited to do it.
Okay, I'm looking at some automation behind you. Tell us how automation and robotics are making a difference this season.
Yeah, aren't these robots are our friends. They've been a great addition to our business. Many different types of tools like that, which really make the job and the work experience for people that much better and more enjoyable, allows them to train and get up to speed faster, and allows us to handle surges of demand that much easier and more efficiently. And so it's been a great addition to our business, and there's many different types of robots. You know, often can be anywhere from 4 to 6 robots per person out in these buildings, and they're navigating around the building, going to where the pickers are, and asking the picker to put certain product onto their shelf, and then the robot will take it to another group of people that is going to pack that out and put it in a box. So they're doing a lot of the walking.
What are you seeing this shopping season? We just had a Black Friday. We're in the throes of Cyber Monday. Are you already seeing some trends?
Well, we are seeing a good buying volume from consumers. We're seeing very similar, slightly elevated volumes to last year from a physical product standpoint. Dollar value is probably 9 to 10% higher than it was last year, and we're seeing some great participation, which is exciting, because we did see a little bit of a slower year earlier in September, October, but November's picked up nicely, and this weekend, Cyber Weekend, has been a great success so far.
Why do you think people are shopping earlier?
Well, part of that is the confidence of knowing that you've got what you want, and people are gaining more confidence that Black Friday deals are the deals that are being offered earlier. Because a lot of people were hesitant at first when Black Friday deals started, middle of November or the beginning of Thanksgiving week, thinking that there was going to be a different solution or a different offering on the actual day, and that's just not the case. So people are getting more confidence in buying early, get the product they want, knowing they're getting a good deal. And this year has a bit of an anomaly where here we are, Thanksgiving's a little bit closer to Christmas than it normally is. So it's Cyber Monday and it's December already. So the amount of time between Cyber Weekend and Christmas is much smaller. So quite a few people took advantage of getting their packages shipped earlier than Thanksgiving.
Given that we have fewer weeks, what do we need to think about as far as shipping and when we get those packages off?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a strong encourager to not procrastinate when it comes to the online shopping. I would tell people, my family and friends, they ask me, and I say, get your orders in and placed by December 15th. That should give you some real confidence that you're going to get your package, and it can handle any disruptions that weather or other things that may come along in December that could cause a delay. You should still be in good shape to get that package for Christmas.
Okay, I think we've become very spoiled in being able to get things within hours, if not overnight or whatever. So does that kind of play into that?
Yeah, I think there is an expectation that consumers are getting in that, same day, 1 day, 2 day shipping. And as time progresses through peak season, there's more and more efficiency that's created as volumes do come down. This is really the big volume is today, it's Friday through today, and we'll start seeing sales decline just a little bit, which allows all the networks to really run more effectively and get that service level and that consumer expectation back in line, which gives us more confidence as we go along through the season.
Is there a place that folks can go if they want to learn more about shipping deadlines or get some tips on shipping?
Yeah, DHL.com is a great place to go to learn more about what this time of year means to us and the things that we do to support the consumer and getting their parcels for Christmas. I appreciate the opportunity for people to understand that peak season for DHL is it's our Super Bowl. This is something that we work and train for all year. And we're excited and ready to provide a nice service to people so that they can be confident what they order online is going to show up at their doorstep in a nice quality way.
That is DHL's president of e-commerce, Craig Foreman. So if you're planning to send some holiday cheer of your own this season, make sure you help the delivery folks out and get your packages shipped early. Otherwise, you might end up on Santa's naughty list. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A deadly wrong-way crash leaving 2 Utah families without their loved ones during the holidays. Utah children getting a chance to eat farm-fresh food in their school lunches. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
An easy drive on your Valley freeways. Maria?
And the forecast calling for showers to come back tomorrow. We do have a 60% chance of a rain-snow mix tomorrow, then a 30% chance on Wednesday, then another dry day, and then the weekend looks a bit unsettled. Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, 39 degrees. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court hearing arguments today on a case involving illegal streaming. Cox Communications appealing the lower court's decision after a jury decided the broadband provider should pay a $1 billion penalty to Sony Music Entertainment and other media companies that sued over distribution and pirated content. Here's ABC's Devin Dwyer.
Every day, billions of people illegally stream or download copyrighted material like music, movies, or TV shows. The key question before the Supreme Court is, are internet companies complicit in those copyright infringements simply by giving online pirates access to the web?
President Trump has commuted the prison sentence of former investment manager and GBB Capital co-founder David Gentile, who was convicted of defrauding investors of more than $1 billion. It's the latest in a series of clemency actions that the president has taken in white-collar criminal cases. And a wintry mix of snow, wind, and rain pushing east after dumping heavy snow in the Midwest and Great Lake region. This is ABC.
Time now for KSL's top local story. 16 people have been arrested in connection to an alleged cockfighting ring in Provo. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has the story.
More than 50 dead animals were found in a backyard shed in Provo after detectives entered a property on 600 South. The detectives initially came to the house to do a wellness check, but found a large congregation of people entering and exiting a shed while flying a drone over the yard. Authorities say over 100 people fled the scene. Authorities say a number of trophies, seemingly related to the illegal rooster fighting gambling practice, were also found in the shed.
Other local stories KSL is following. Some of our ski resorts are reporting as much as 9 inches of new snow out of this latest storm, but there wasn't a lot of water in that snow.
The supervisor for the Utah Snow Survey says this storm was great for the resorts. Lots of light, fluffy stuff that backcountry skiers love, but not much water.
Typically when we get into the colder months, December, January, and February, that's when we see the majority of the snow being that really low density fluffy snow. And it's sometimes we get that in the spring as well into March and April, but a lot of times those storms tend to be a little bit higher density snow.
Jordan Clayton says from a water content perspective, it isn't something to worry about. He says there's still plenty of time to get the water we need to refill the reservoirs before next spring. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Work has already begun to extend the West Davis Highway. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
Right now, utility companies are moving water and power infrastructure to make room for the 2-mile northward extension of SR 177. Mitch Shaw with UDOT says we won't see any actual road work until spring, but these first steps will help them get the extension work started as soon as possible.
The extension won't be complete for another couple of years, and Shaw says based on the growth predictions, we will need this addition to keep up with increased traffic. Taking a look at your money at this moment, it was a down day for the markets. The Dow ending down 427 points to end at 47,289. S&P down by 36 and the NASDAQ down by 89 points. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
We've had a little bit of busy traffic on southbound I-15 between 7200 and 90th South. Nothing major. And as quickly as it really filled in there for about 20 minutes, it's already starting to ease. So Valley Freeway traffic still seeing a very good drive, and that does include I-15 both directions between Ogden and Provo. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Staying below 40 degrees for a good part of the week. Tomorrow, though, it will be a little bit warmer with a high of 42. Right now, 39 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Mr. Max, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Max there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one.
As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A deadly wrong-way crash ruining the long holiday weekend for two Utah families. UHB says 21-year-old Jose Jimenez got onto I-15 early Saturday morning, driving southbound in the northbound lanes just north of 2100 South. Authorities say Jimenez hit another car head-on, killing the two people inside. The victims, identified as 18-year-old Leo Shepard and 17-year-old Annika Wilson. The couple had just celebrated their third anniversary and were driving up to Idaho for the weekend. KSL 5 TV's Andrew Adams spoke with Leo's family members to learn more about his life and who he was.
Leo he's outstanding. He's taller than all of us. Things that Leo loved to go hunting. He loved helping around the farm, and he loved his family. And Annika was a really big part of Leo's life, and he sure did love her, and we loved her too. Leo was always getting into different hobbies and interests. He was kind of just a master at it all. Anything that he could put his head to, he could do.
He loved old country music.
He loved country music. He was our little
Cowboy at heart.
Cowboy at heart, for sure.
And he loved being an uncle. He loved all his nieces and nephews so much. Mm-hmm. They meant the world to him, and he told me that multiple times.
Siblings Reed Shepard and Sam Butterfield say the family has already forgiven the person accused of killing both Leo and Annika.
What we really want everybody to know is the fastest way to heal is to forgive and not fill our hearts with hate. And it's pretty easy to do, but we just want everybody to know that we've as a family have talked about it, and we forgive him. We choose to forgive, and if he wants to go and get better and use this accident to help other people not do it again, because I'll just say this for me: the pain that comes with losing my little brother is undescribable. There ain't words to describe it. I can't tell anybody what it's like, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else.
Troopers say Jimenez is expected to survive and has been arrested on suspicion of DUI. If you come upon a wrong-way driver, what can you do to help minimize the destruction or avoid it altogether? You might think it's best to swerve out of the way, but Utah Highway Patrol Sergeant Mike Alexander says that could cause additional crashes or further issues.
Anytime these scenarios come up, it's never a good situation, but there are, a couple of things that motorists can do to prepare, in the event that this does present itself in front of them. Like I said, there's some things that we can do beforehand, and there's some things that we can do during. And so focusing on the things that they can do beforehand is just some really basic items, like making sure that they're, seat belted in their vehicle. Make sure that all your proper safety devices are being utilized, airbags are on, seat belt is plugged in, and you're buckled up and as safe as you can be that way. making sure that your headlights are on. In a day and age where we utilize so much technology to take care of us in our vehicles, sometimes we forget that the automatic lights are turned off, or we have it on a lower setting with just the running lights or something along those lines. We see it so frequently, and your vehicle is just way less visible. And it's important for them to be as visible as possible when these scenarios present themselves. So making sure all of your lights are on, your headlights are on, and just making sure generally that you're awake and alert, that you're paying attention, your distractions are put away, and that you're scanning well ahead of where you're traveling so that you know what's going on up ahead of you.
Yeah, so Sergeant, when we are faced with this situation, is there something better that we can do to maybe avoid a collision?
Yeah, so generally when we see these, a lot of times these wrong-way vehicles are traveling over in the left lanes for whatever reason. I don't know if they're believing that they're traveling in one of the slower lanes, or thinking that they're off on the right because they're traveling the wrong way, but really they're on the left side. And so generally we see higher speeds over there on that left side. And so we as a general motoring public, we need to make sure that we're following speed limit laws. If you see headlights coming towards you from up ahead, immediately begin to slow down in a safe manner, right? You don't want to thunder your brakes or anything along those lines. You want to slow down in a safe manner and try to move to the right as safely as possible. If you can't move to the right, slowing down is pretty much your only option, but slowing down will reduce the severity of the crash if that were to occur. And then if you can move to the right, generally these crashes do happen in the early morning or late night hours, and so traffic is usually a little lighter, and so it is important to make sure that we're making sure that the lane next to us is clear. But if you can move over to the right, that's going to be a little bit safer scenario for you.
You mentioned the seat belts and the airbags. How much of a difference do they make in this scenario?
They make a huge difference. Anytime two vehicles are traveling at a high speed and they hit head on, or even a glancing collision in that manner will prevent an ejection. And the majority of the time, individuals who are ejected from their vehicle do suffer fatal or much more severe injuries. And so they do make a difference. We do see, positive results with these safety devices that are mandated inside our vehicle, and they're mandated by state statute. And that's why, they're mandated by state statute, is to increase safety inside of our vehicles. They do make a big difference.
Anything that we need to add to make sure that people can be as safe as possible?
If you do encounter a wrong-way driver, immediately call 911. That is an absolute emergency situation. Call 911. Be aware of your surroundings and your location so that you can give an accurate description of where you located the vehicle. And if you aren't, having to take drastic evasive maneuvers, just get as good a description of the vehicle as you can. How fast it was going, what lane it was in, an estimate of how fast it was going, that is, and what lane it was in. And generally, what color or kind of vehicle it is would be super helpful.
That is UHP Sergeant Mike Alexander with tips on what you can do if you come upon a wrong-way driver. Turning now to national news, lawyers for Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, back in court today. They're trying to block key evidence from coming out.
The second witness in this case is taking the stand in front of a judge. Mangione entered the courtroom about an hour late. There were some technical issues that had to be resolved before he could go in, as well as the judge. Dozens of his supporters, most of them women, are here. He's developed an unusually large following online. They've created websites, billboards, and social media campaigns. They've also sent some 6,000 letters on his behalf. A base of supporters like this is extremely rare for a common citizen and has become part of the courtroom atmosphere. This hearing today could ultimately determine what evidence jurors will see throughout the trial. Prosecutors want to introduce a backpack that was seized at the time of his arrest. They say it contained a 3D printed gun and handwritten notes. You mentioned that notebook. In those notes, Mangione allegedly wrote that he targeted Brian Thompson to prove a political point and to expose what he calls the parasitic nature of the healthcare industry here in the U.S. The defense will then argue that the officers overstepped during that arrest that they made in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and that the search was unconstitutional. Arresting officers are expected to take the stand while a judge determines whether that backpack should stay in as evidence or be thrown out. Legal experts say that this ruling could have major consequences for the prosecution's case. If the judge suppresses that evidence, it's argued that it could weaken the prosecution's case. We're talking about federal charges and state charges. So the overlap between the state homicide charges and that separate federal case where some are seeking the death penalty, they kind of go hand in hand here. So what happens today will really determine what that federal case looks like in the long term, and it's going to shape strategy for all of the attorneys.
That is News Nation's Jessica Cardelia reporting. We'll be back with more Midday in just 60 seconds.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The families of two teenagers who went missing and were later found murdered now pushing for officers to have better training in what's called digital forensics. This kind of investigation looks deeper at the digital footprint left behind by those who have gone missing and at the digital footprint from suspects in those cases, too. It uses things like cell phone analysis and other technology-based investigative tools. Now, it played a major role in discovering the bodies of Gabby Petito and Dylan Rounds. Dylan's mother, Candace Cooley, spoke with KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla about how this kind of data helps solve these cases.
Through these other cases I've worked on across the country, many of them have been solvable, but unfortunately the education hasn't been offered to the law enforcement agents who work these cases. So it's not their fault. Public safety falls on everybody's shoulders. That's why it's called public safety. We need to work harder to help raise the funds, bring in the training, and make our public a safer place.
Cooley says these trainings will help public safety as a whole.
You know, my biggest thing is public safety and how the public can play a role. That is of the utmost importance. We do it in all kinds of different ways throughout our lives, but everybody thinks when it comes to law enforcement, you call 911, they show up, everything's solved and fixed. But if they don't know, they just don't know. So we need them to know. So that is what we are helping to do.
So what will be in this training?
So what the training pretty much consists of is forensic phone data. The forensic cellular data is so important in so many of these cases. And unfortunately, the budget isn't in our law enforcement's budget to train these officers on it. Usually you'll have one forensic guy in the department that's trained on it, and every case lands on his desk, where we're training deputies, school resource officers, fish and game officers, anybody who is law enforcement to try to expedite the process.
The event will be held tonight and tomorrow at the College of Eastern Idaho. As part of the training, Cooley says they will hold a public safety discussion at the college from 7 to 8 tonight. Now, Cooley says they will also be holding a public safety discussion as part of that training. From the farm to the school, Utah kids are getting the chance to experience fresher food in their lunches. More on that after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
A small accident in Murray. It's on the ramp, northbound I-15 at the I-215 junction, the south interchange. Also, the final cleanup of a surface street crash, 2100 south at 1900 east. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Step into the magic of the holiday lights at the ballpark at America First Square. Get tickets at theballpark@afs.com. Make this season unforgettable. Holiday lights at the ballpark.
Utah's holiday magic starts at Ballpark at America First Square. Experience holiday lights and dazzling displays now through January 3rd. Get tickets at the ballpark at afs.com.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Breaking news here on Midday. The Utah Department of Transportation is investigating why a wrong-way detection system did not work, possibly contributing to the deadly wrong-way crash that killed a 17 and 18-year-old over the weekend. UDOT's John Gleason says usually flashing signs alert the wrong-way driver. Then they send an alert to UDOT's Traffic Ops Center so they can notify troopers. That did not happen this time. It's unclear if the lights flashed. 2 weeks earlier, it did work in another wrong-way situation. Now, it's unclear if it would have done anything to prevent the crash. In other news, Utah school children are learning the value of farm-fresh food. Utah Department of Agriculture and Food is creating partnerships between schools and local farmers and ranchers. The result is farm-fresh food for school lunches.
Some of the key pillars are ag education. So few people are really connected with their food supply these days, or they just don't have an understanding about how food gets from the farm to grocery stores onto school cafeteria trays, and also school gardens, like trying to increase agricultural literacy, local food consumption, school gardens, and mostly local food in actual school cafeterias.
Spokesperson Caroline Hargraves hopes it's an enduring program.
It's been incredible. The school procurement process can be really complicated. It varies school district to school district. There are different regulatory requirements, but even just the purchasing and contracting process can be overwhelming without someone to kind of guide you through it. So we've done both like one-on-one kind of hand-holding and trying to create materials. That way businesses can find these resources and learn to help themselves. There was a really cool local Beef for Schools program that we had where we received over $1 million to reimburse schools for purchasing local beef, with the idea of once these ranchers have those connections with local schools, even once that grant funding ends, they'll have those relationships and can sustain that revenue stream and that way to get local high-quality beef and bison into school meals.
She says the kitchen staff is developing recipes and learning how to cook with these fresh ingredients.
Kids love it. Like, they can taste the difference. There was a really cool day we went out to like the Ute Tribal Enterprise, their bison ranch, and it's really cool seeing a product that might not normally make it into school cafeterias. We've also done some recipe development so that child nutrition professionals understand how to cook with these local products if it's a little bit different than what they're used to. But kids love it. It's less food waste. It's better for them, better for the environment, better for the economy. But mostly kids just like that it tastes better.
Hargraves tells KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi it's fun to introduce children to the farmers that grow their food.
Like, we do a really fun day on the Hill where we bring up an apple farmer each year and a few hundred kindergartners, and they get to know him. But like, you can see it on their faces if they've only ever had, maybe an out of season, mushy, red delicious apple, and then they taste something like vibrant and flavorful and locally grown. Like, they want to eat the whole thing, not just take a bite and throw it out.
The program is also helping farmers and ranchers develop partnerships with schools. The department is hoping to secure another round of grant funding to extend the program to more schools. Now that you're done with your Thanksgiving feast, an animal rescue farm in Tennessee wants you to know turkeys aren't just good for a delicious feast, they're also great for cuddling. At the Gentle Barn, turkeys are part of the animal-based therapy sessions with horses, cows, sheep, goats, and, well, why not turkeys too? But wait, remember a few years ago when health professionals were telling people to stop cuddling their chickens for risk of salmonella? Well, maybe they didn't think about that, or don't think about it for this story anyway. AP photojournalist Kristen Hall spoke with the Gentle Barn founder Ellie Lax and Jordan Galata during a turkey cuddle session.
Oh my goodness, you're so snuggly.
The world has started to recognize that dogs, cats, horses have a therapeutic value to them. So at the Gentle Barn, we think, why not turkeys? It's a place of refuge for anyone that wants to feel safe, heard, seen, respected, and know that they matter. And so at the Gentle Barn, once we partner with the animals, we invite people to come in and heal with them. So we have a cow hug therapy session where people can find real healing. We have an equine therapy program where people can practice confidence and leadership skills. And we have a turkey cuddling program where people can cuddle with turkeys, rub pig bellies, hold chickens, play with goats and sheep, and be surrounded by joy, but also be inspired by these animal stories.
It's like peace. It's like bringing peace to me. Yeah.
The stereotypes out there that they're dumb, all these things. And after 26 years at the Gentle Barn, I have to tell you that I have come to find that completely not true. They are extremely intelligent. They have a very rich and highly developed language.
You're such a good little turkey. Yeah. Did you hear me? I would much rather be here and, cuddling a turkey and making sure that turkey knows that it's loved.
The 60 animals at the Gentle Barn have all been rescued. They've had injuries and they require special care. Now, for example, one of the turkeys gets acupuncture for painful hips and trouble walking. So if you decided to pardon your own turkey this year, maybe give it a little extra love. After all, it probably just lost most of its friends. Tim Hughes is in for Jeff Kaplan.
If I'm
just the look on your face.
If I'm looking for respect or love, I don't think I'm going to turn to a turkey.
No?
But you're saying I should, for my 30-something sons who can't find a mate, I should be looking to buy another turkey, this time a live one, and just tell them to cuddle?
No.
That might fulfill
their lives?
I'm not
saying that at all.
These people are crazy.
Have a good time.
Crazy. Thank you.
Tim in for Jeff this afternoon. Have a great afternoon.